Hello, salutations with this at the gamer of Father Durag and no vibes like scrub. Let's get it. Welcome once again to the Aftershow podcast. I am joined by the ghost of Casual Avenger, as usual. Rest in peace, buddy. Enjoy that deep dish. No, as far as we know, he's still alive and well. Also, still enjoying that deep dish
and sipping for the Raimi suit.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's trolling or legitimate. I mean, it is a very nice suit, but still
lies.
still inferior to Tasm too. But since he's not here to talk about it or defend himself, we have JayShockblast here to slander him. What's up, Jay?
It's accurate.
I usually am. We try to keep it fair, balanced, and accurate on this show.
Yeah, just like Alex Jones.
Exactly like Alex Jones.
Another week in the books. Next week is PAX East. It's going to be a show.
Yeah, Jay is going to be setting up at the Sweet Baby Ink booth, so that's going to be fun.
I don't even think they have them there. Honestly, I love PAX East. It's a great show. It's a lot of fun. The industry has given up on doing these shows.
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean, it's brutal. There's shout out to all the indie games that are there and all the smaller devs, but man, I've been going it's been popping up in my memories lately, all the past shows, and it was PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo right in front. Right when you went down the escalator, okay, there they were, the three bigs right there. And then EA would be there, 2K, Ubisoft, literally a who's who of everybody. Not anymore.
Now it's just Jay.
Yeah. I mean, I think Final Fantasy 14 is there.
But who cares?
Yeah, I mean, Xbox fans care.
Yeah, who cares about them? So.
I know you would say that.
I mean, even they are, coming around to the truth.
Yeah, but I mean, it's make the most of it, But, yeah.
Yep. So, and of course, E3 is still dead. So, but we still got Summer Game Fest, which is dancing on the grave of E3.
Yeah, but even that is not the same. Summer Game Fest is a 2-hour show. That's it.
Yeah.
So what is he dancing on the grave of?
Basically, we replaced E3 with a series of Jeff Keighley type events: Summer Game Fest, the Game Awards, kind of a year-long thing of gaming, and then the big developers have their own showcases. So instead of just one big show where everyone gets together and gather, you have several different individual showcases, mostly digital, and that's basically it.
I think they're everybody's under. I understand the industry is in shambles right now, right?
Indeed.
But I think they underestimate how important these events are for them, the hands-on time. So I don't know.
Well, maybe one day, or maybe Jay can buy back E3 one day and relaunch it. We'll see.
Yeah.
Shout out to everyone. We got Marvel and Simple J and and Comic Book Burrito. Appreciate you. Make sure you drop a like and subscribe. Also share. All helps with the almighty YouTube algorithm. We're going to be having a special guest at some point in the next couple of weeks. So be on the lookout for that. That should be a lot of fun. In the meantime, it will just be me and Jay. We got a lot to talk about today. A lot of stuff happened. We had some more big Spider-Man leaks, all stemming from that hack last year. One in particular got people talking because they had not one but two trailers leak for the canceled multiplayer Spider-Man game, The Great Web, and it's caused some debate. You know, a lot of people are sad that it's canceled. Others happy that it was canceled. So we'll talk about it. We also got a Suicide Squad Kill Justice League dev blog to go over, and we definitely got some stuff to talk about there. We're talking about a little Battlefront because Star Wars Battlefront Collection came out this week. Shout out to Aspire for sending me an early copy. I enjoyed it, but based on the Steam reviews, a lot of other people did not. So we're gonna talk about that, as well as some new updates about the future of the MCU and what have you. So appreciate everyone for taking the time to hang out with us on this Friday evening. I guess first thing we can get into is the big one, as Jay loves to touch. We have Spider-Man: The Great Web.
Phrasing?
You know what you told me backstage. So we have Spider-Man: The Great Web.
Don't make me talk about the DMs.
Yeah, lies. The trailer dropped, and people had a lot of thoughts. This, of course, was the canceled Spider-Man game that we heard about initially in that reporting about all the layoffs and what have you. This was also came up in the hacks last year as well. But we actually got to see what the game would have been in action. It is, in fact, exactly what you think. It's an Insomniac Spider-Man game. All the moves, all the open worlds, all that good stuff. But multiplayer, it was going to be up to 5 people, and it was an interesting premise. The whole multiversal breach thing was being caused by Scarlet Witch. You would fight the Sinister Six and some other threats. Venom would be playable, as well as Spider Gwen, Cindy, as well as Peter, Miles, and other Spider heroes. It sounded. I talked about this before, but I think before Spider-Man 2 came out, I mentioned how cool it would be to have like a multiverse, a Spider-Verse type of game, and here we had one potentially, and Sony pulled the plug. Now in my video, I said that it was probably a good thing that was canceled, so I'm curious if Jay is going to disagree with me or admit that I'm right.
Remember when Hip Hop Gamer mentioned something about something like this?
I believe he was talking specifically about Spider-Man 2.
All right.
But he was in fact right. He mentioned like a rift mechanic. It's potentially something to do with, similar to Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, and said it could have something to do with the Spider-Verse as well. But yeah, that turned out to be accurate on both fronts, more so than he probably initially thought. The rift mechanic was thrown in there as part of that Miles Morales mission where he's chasing Black Cat, and after she's stolen the wand from Doctor Strange. And of course, they also included an actual Spider-Verse, piece of side content in there after you collect all the spider bots. So that was cool.
I am kind of glad that this got canceled, because Spider-Man fans don't deserve something this good.
True. I thought you'd say something like that.
Literally what it comes down to. I don't know who the worst fans in all of gaming are, whether it's the Arkham nerds or the Spider nerds or the Snyderverse jagoffs.
I feel like the Spider fans have to be up there because of just how ungrateful they are, because it's like, the Arkham fans is like, okay, you got your Batman games, but it's been like, there's only been 3 of them from Rocksteady. It's not that long standing of a universe, but but Batman, you can argue, Batman in general but they're not really Batman fans. But they're mostly about the Arkham games. But Spider-Man fans are pretty much always spoiled, and
Yeah.
they've had probably the least to complain about out of every
Yeah.
fandom. And
There's no reason
they
no
always,
reason whatsoever for a single person to be upset that this could have been a game. Like, this is awesome.
clearly.
Okay. like and honestly, it probably wasn't that tough for them to put together because they have all the suits for the most part, so they could reuse the city,
Yep.
expand on it maybe a little bit. Like, the ability to reuse so many assets and still put together what up, Doom? Still be able to put together a game that everybody would be loving and enjoying. And I am just so tired of people crying and complaining about video games they don't have to play. I'm over it. It's like no one is going to hold a gun to your head and make you play this game. I understand you're a Spider-Man fan, but if you don't want to play online, if you don't want to play with people, if you don't want to do co-op, then just don't play.
Well, Jay, you understand it has to be about them.
I know. What I said is basically hate speech. I understand. Okay.
Doom, you trying to get on this panel?
No, we can get you in here.
If you're free, the invites are easy to generate.
Only has to be,
doesn't
have to be an hour,
Just let a naysayer know.
I mean, but like, seriously, it's baffling to me that there is even any pushback whatsoever. You know what I mean? I just don't get it. Like, this is the next step. All right. Why would you not want a game like this? It's not going to impact anything else that they're doing. Like, they had teams together to do these things. So what does it matter? I don't know.
Because it has to be what they want, Jay. And here's the thing. What's up, Eastwood? Welcome. What happened? I basically laid this out exactly how this is going to happen. It's not that people like the only negative thing I could think about for this game is if the multiplayer didn't work, because that's always a problem.
Right.
That's always the biggest obstacle. Will the multiplayer work? But that aside, I know for a fact that most people would have loved the game until Insomniac put something in the marketplace. Because now, because what they would have had to basically have done, and this is probably why Sony ultimately decided to cancel this. Like, if they wanted to go full live service on this one, really go GTO online with this, it would have taken considerable resources. But Insomniac is a big studio, but it would have taken considerable resources. They would have had to probably put some stuff on the back burner, but they probably weren't necessarily confident in how they could monetize, because sure, they could try to do a Ghost of Tsushima Legends thing, but I'm sure in Sony's mind they're like, well, could we really justify then we couldn't really justify making it a whole game. Like, if you're making a whole game, like, that's going to be expensive, even if you're reusing assets. Like, Spider-Man 2 still was extremely expensive. And this is going to be an ongoing live service game. So you're going to need to support the servers. You're going to need you're going to need to produce new content. And of course, you're also going to need to pay, Big Daddy Disney their cut. Mm-hmm. So at some point, Sony's going to be like, okay, well, we gotta monetize. So sell the DLC, sell some skins. And as soon as they were like, okay, multiplayer Spider-Man game, I'm in. Oh, also, we got some stuff for no battle pass. That's all you heard. That's all you would have heard.
Yeah.
The death threats would have come out. It would have been a whole thing. As soon as, especially if the game wasn't free to play as well. Like if, heaven forbid, if this was a brand new game that was $70. Even if it was $40, they probably complain. But most people would be like, okay, that's held out pricing. Okay, whatever. 40, 30, that's whatever. But if they had put anything for sale, they would have had a meltdown. And we know this because that's literally what happened when they put those Flying Fresh suit packs up for sale.
That everybody hated.
They didn't like it. They didn't like them. They complained they didn't like the look of the suits. But despite that, despite them admittedly not wanting the suits themselves, it only costing $4.99, and it being for charity, it was a problem.
Yep. because God forbid these devs that just had to needlessly lay off 50 people like make some money.
Oh, you know? heaven forbid. But I don't want the suit. But what if the pay $70? Shut up.
It's the precedent. Now they'll think they can sell suits all the time.
Granted, this is the softest possible rollout of this. Hey, it's for charity. It's not a comic or movie suit. You don't like them anyway. It's only $4.99. And we're going to give it to you for free later.
I'm kind of over this generation of gaming fans, to be honest with you.
They fucking suck, bro.
Like, honestly, I would give anything to be able to do as little as I have to do doing anything else. I don't know. Like to have like the easiness of this, you know, just not doing this, because it's just I'm so over it.
This is the most spoiled generation. Like they have, like when I was a kid, I would have killed to have access to all this cool stuff.
Right.
Like, are you kidding me? A open world Spider-Man game looks like this, to potentially a multiplayer Spider-Man game where I could play as Venom and all these other Spider characters. Like, oh, what? This sounds amazing. And people are just like, oh, but I have to play with people. I don't want to play with people. I am a single player.
To be fair, I saw your Helldivers experience. I understand that.
Yeah, for sure. That's it. Yeah, playing with other people can definitely be a problem for sure. But that's why you don't enable microphones. Problem solved. Yeah. You just play in silence. That's that is, unless you're white. That is the safe. That is the safest thing to do when playing.
I can't even dispute that. I mean, I don't usually play with a headset, but yeah. Yeah, there's no two ways around. I heard that and I was like, what the what is even the point, man? Like, can't you just set it to private?
Literally, like in the literal settings, you can change your lobbies to friends only or public. So if you want to only have a private session, you can limit it so that only your friends could join.
And the person was I also, not knowing anything about this game whatsoever, really, I can also just safely assume that you just match made and it put you in there and you didn't like seek them out multiple times.
I literally did. I literally hit quick play on the map and it dropped me in.
Like, honestly, like,
to their public lobby.
Just dumb human beings. So yeah, anyway.
That is what it is. But I mean, unsurprisingly, to be fair, it is a game where you're playing as, you know,
idiots,
a soldier working on behalf of a fascist government. So
and to be fair, the player base does have to basically create the story, because there isn't one, and is willing to do the literal exact same thing over and over again. So
there is a story, Jay. You're fighting for Super Earth, democracy,
my point exactly.
Freedom.
Yes.
Liberty, sir. Have you had any? Take a sip.
I played and all I got was communism.
But
anyway,
even that aside, a lot of people were excited generally about the idea of playing a multiplayer Spider-Man game. But I do think ultimately, I think Sony might have just been cutting bait on the whole live service push because that was kind of Jim Ryan's thing. Like he saw the trends and was like, okay, well, let's go all in on live service, and I think they were doing like 40% investment, and they were like, oh, let's pull that back because The Last of Us live service got canceled. Twisted Metal live service got canceled, and then of course the Spider-Man Great Web. Now, all of them, I have no doubt Spider-Man had the by far highest chance of being successful. Like I think it would have been huge. I think if they literally just made this, as long as it worked, you could actually play. They sold this for $40, $30. I'm sure this would have sold like 20 million.
Yeah, but I mean, they weren't going to do that though. They were going to like sell it full price, I'm sure. And I don't know. I don't know. I don't know ultimately why they canceled it, but I'm tired of this like notion that everything has to be for me, and if it's not, fuck you.
Yeah. That's a really bad, because it's not just it'd be one thing. It's like, oh, I personally don't want to play a multiplayer Spider-Man game. It's the fact that if you want to play a game and they don't want that game, then it becomes a problem.
And like I feel like, and maybe it's just because of me. I look at games like Elden Ring and Sekiro, and I was like, oh, I want to play those games, but like I know that I don't want the stress.
Right.
So I'm not going to sit here and cry until they add an easier game mode. Like if that's the decision they want to make, that's on them. I don't agree with it, but like I'm just not going to play your game. Yeah. And it's not that complicated,
Yeah. And
there's plenty of other games
like Rise of Ronin. Like the one of the things I've heard is that because Team Ninja are known for kind of their very Sekiro hard type of game, with the Ninja Gaiden games, everything like that. But they've made Rise of the Ronin a lot more accessible, and even included in easy mode. So that I think this game might be their most popular potentially from Team Ninja, because while some of the hardcores are probably not going to like that it's easier, it will potentially bring in more people like a JayShockblast who doesn't want to sweat and fight the same boss 200 times.
But that's the other thing that I don't understand. So it's potentially going to be easier if you set it to the easier setting. So what? Like there's going to be a hard mode, play it.
Yeah.
What does it matter to these people if somebody that's, let's just say,
has an issue of skill?
Yeah. Or God forbid, I don't want to like someone like Nava, who I know has vision issues. Okay.
Right.
Like I know that some of these games are harder for him, but he still plays it and he still has fun. But not everybody is able physically or has that instinct or whatever it may be to be able to keep up with those things, and they still deserve to play it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. But Jay, as a counterpoint, the sanctity of my game. But I don't have to play the easy mode, but the fact that it exists means that someone's not getting good, Jay. They got to get good, Jay.
That comes out this week, huh?
That's that mentality. Yeah. So Rise of the Ronin and
Friday, a week from today,
and Dragon's Dogma come out the same day.
Oh.
Same day. I will probably buy Rise of the Ronin. I haven't heard anything from my contact about a review copy, but Capcom is giving me the red carpet treatment when it comes to Dragon's Dogma, so I have plenty of coverage for that.
Well, I just pre-ordered Rise of the Ronin.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I watched SkillUp's review because he was like the only one that had a negative impression.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but based on his review, it sounds like it's something like that I would enjoy, because he was a fan of Team Ninja, so his main complaint was that it wasn't as challenging as the other games. And he also said there were some issues with frames. So as long as it works, I'm all in. It looks good. I'm not concerned that the graphics aren't the best, because let's be honest, people need to fucking make up their minds. Like you want to you don't want to pay for games anymore, but you want them to look as expensive as possible, or you're gonna be like PS3 graphics. But
yeah,
when they give you that, which means games are going to cost more money, like, well, I don't want to spend money. I just want make a, like you got to pick a lane. Do you want amazing, expensive looking games, or do you just want a good fun game that works? Pick one.
It's really not that complicated. I mean, like I don't get it, but like these same people will probably spend $300 on a pair of shoes they're gonna stick in a box and look at.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Rise of the Ronin is the new game from Team Ninja, from makers of Ninja Gaiden. You play a samurai in the 1800s, and you get to run around liberating villages and cutting people's heads off. So all good fun. But I was reading this interview with about Power World, and I was stunned to learn. Obviously, Power World, massive success, biggest game of 2024. Pretty much outsold Hogwarts. Pretty much matched Hogwarts Legacy in players in the first month. all of what they did last year. Massively successful game. But the craziest thing is that the studio was not only was the studio only 55 people, the game cost less than $7 million to make. That was the craziest thing that I saw. like that was, and obviously it does not.
It shows though.
It does, yeah. It definitely does not look like a $300 million game, or even a $50 million game. But it, as they showed, it doesn't have to, and I thought that opens up, some potentially possibilities, because AAA studios are scrambling, trying to figure out how to bring down costs. But I think that's where like these smaller studios are going to really have an advantage, especially since you've had some AAA developers splinter off and start their own smaller studios, like the guys like Sefton Hill and them from Rocksteady. They did that. We had a couple of outfits do that. And I think as technology grows, we're going to see more of these opportunities to bring players really good games without all the bloat associated with AAA stuff. And as long as they're giving players exactly what they want to agree. And props to the Power team. They saw a hole in the market. They were like, hey, a lot of people love Pokemon, but the Pokemon games are ass. so let's give them the Pokemon game they want. Call it Power World, and just do that. Just focus on that. They just announced they're doing a raid. They got their first raid coming up, and the game has been tremendously successful. And they literally have more money than they know to do with. The CEO of the studio mentioned this specifically. They don't know what to do with all that money.
Bonuses.
That too. Yeah, I heard Japan was breaking the trend of firing devs by instead giving them raises. So I think that would be a good place to start. If you're not going to hire more staff,
right?
Because they said they weren't going to hire more staff. They're not going to buy bigger offices, which all smart, but pay the people there more.
Yeah. I'm a big believer in profit sharing. Like I really feel like when Jay's president of the United States, I will give companies their tax breaks based on profit sharing, how much they share the profit with their employees.
I do like that, like that concept of where employees have like a stake, because there's a lot of people that don't understand how businesses work or the risks associated with it. So it's easy for them to talk shit from a distance. But I feel like they would be more invested in the process if they had some skin in the game, like to understand. Okay, well, when when the company's doing well, you reap those benefits. When it's not, you don't. So I think that'd be a really good incentive to be like, hey, if you do your thing, you do what you're supposed to do, and the company does well, then you get to share in those profits. And I think that would pretty much work for everyone. Obviously it won't work for people who only want to keep all their money so they can buy yachts and go to fly to Epstein Island. But you know, for most of the people, I think it would be a a good benefit.
The chat that Hoarder and Doom are having right now is everything I hate about Helldivers, and not because of Helldivers, but because they're like the only game that seems like has ever been allowed to get away with that bullshit. If any other game tried that, like imagine we're sitting here and like Avengers was our choose your own adventure, and like we were just like making up our own stories for Avengers. Like we get laughed off the freaking internet. You know what I mean? Like it would be hilariously, we would be hilariously made fun of.
to be
But
fair,
like,
it's not that they don't have a story or a plan. They're doing they're involving the community in a way that is actually, I'll give the CEO credit because it's worked very well. Instead of just saying, okay, this is the game, this is the roadmap. Like obviously people know some stuff that's coming if they do some data mining, but for most people, or play the first one, but for most, they understand, okay, we know some stuff is coming, but instead of just saying, "Oh, here's the roadmap. This is what we're doing. These are new enemies we're bringing in. This is the story. This is how we're advancing this." They're like kind of leaving it up to a bit of a mystery and actually playing into the whole bit. Like for example, one of the recent updates, they introduced flying enemies.
yeah.
And it became this whole meme because they were like they said bugs don't fly. That's propaganda. And the CEO leaned into this, and this became this whole meme. Even Paul Tassi got in on it. There's no such thing as flying bugs. It's propaganda. So it gets the community involved, and I do have to tip my hat to the Helldivers developers for they may not have this big story campaign, but they have built around a, in kind of the Elder Ring approach. They packed in a lot of lore that they don't explicitly feed you, but they've taken it a step further by kind of bringing it in without telling you everything out front and like playing into it.
And I don't hate them for that.
And it's worked.
I hate the fans for that, because it's like there are plenty of other games that were deeper and richer with that type of stuff that have been treated mercilessly. But then you have this game that is like, there's no rhyme or reason why this game should be that popular. Like it's enjoyable. I get that. But there have been lots of games that have come out that have done what it does, only deeper, and people don't have the same patience. And
to be
I
fair,
don't get it.
They haven't had there's definitely been their share of criticisms. Like the community has gone through several controversies. I've been keeping up with it. They had this whole spat with one of the devs who was attacking the players. It became a whole thing. So it's not like there's no criticism. It's not like people don't have complaints. It's just that the game is doing well because I think the timing was very important because it came out in a time like right around the same time as another failed live service game, coming right after, before Suicide Squad. You had Struggles, you had Redfall. So then here you have this game, no expectations, comes in, and it's similarly player friendly, very player friendly, and just a good fun time, and packs a lot of meme potential, and that's what you need. I think even Even the Pal World CEO mentioned something like this phenomenon where he's like, yeah, the future of games is fun, playing with your friends. He specifically designed it as a game. He's like, well, we want this to be not even something you can enjoy with friends, but something that'll be talked about online. And Helldivers 100% embodied all of it. They made a game that would go viral, have a ton of meme potential, involve the community, and that pretty much did most of the marketing for them. That's what truly sold the game. And they also got some goodwill initially because they did do some player friendly stuff. I mean, looking at their monetization model, similar to Suicide Squad, I'm not quite sure how they would have made a profit if the game hadn't sold so well,
It
because
has such an install base.
yeah, because you have a battle pass, but the battle pass isn't really like a battle pass. Like the war bonds, the game launched with, you unlock them all with medals, which you earn by playing. You unlock all the individual items on there with medals that you earn by playing. And on the war bonds are super credits, which is the premium currency, which you can also find by playing the game. And they just introduced a new premium bond, which you can buy for 1,000 super credits, which you can pick up in game or on the other war bonds, or you can spend 60 medals to unlock the whole thing. So, and even the skins and the actual cosmetics stuff they sell don't even cost that many super credits. Like I think the most I've spent for like a helmet or a piece of armor or whatever, it's like 275 super credits. So it's very player friendly in that regard. So, and the base price was only $40. So players were willing to overlook that because it didn't have the expectations. It didn't have a lot of the live service trappings that they usually are accustomed to. It's a lot more player friendly, which gave them that benefit of the doubt. Whereas with Suicide Squad, people were programmed to hate that from the beginning because of the narrative of, well, you have a single player studio that makes single player story driven games, and now they're doing a live service game, and we don't want that. And it also didn't help that shooting Batman in the head. Like,
you know who else was once a single player story driven studio?
JayShockblast.
Bungie. Like, sure, Halo had multiplayer, but it wasn't like the focus. You know what I mean?
But it was a very big multiplayer game, to be fair.
Sure, but like
it was not a huge shift from Halo to Destiny, like it would have been from Batman Arkham Knight to Suicide Squad. Like that was a much more dramatic transition.
maybe a little, but still.
Like you're from, in one case, you're going from a first person shooter with multiplayer with a deep story with aliens and super soldiers to a first person shooter multiplayer game with aliens and super soldiers.
Yeah. No, I get. Well, I mean, you're going from Batman to DC. It's kind of the same deal there. But
you're going from a single player open world Batman game to a live service looter shooter where you're Captain Boomerang and Harley Quinn and King Shark with a LMG. it's kind of a dramatic,
dramatic, but
it's kind of a dramatic shift.
Literally the same world, but still, the point still remains that like there are plenty. The point is that there are plenty of studios that started as single player story driven studios that evolved and have done other things.
I mean, I think a better example would be Rocksteady's first game was a first person shooter. Their first ever game was a first person shooter. Now, if that game had been more popular, then when they announced that they were doing Batman Arkham Asylum, that probably would have gotten some pushback. But because their first game wasn't a big success, they didn't have that baggage or that expectation. So people kind of were looking at them sideways, like, who are these guys? Rocksteady? They're making a Batman game. What is this? And then when Arkham Asylum was good and it sold so well, then it became, oh well, Rocksteady, now they're the Batman studio. So then the expectation became, oh well, make me another Batman game. It was like, okay, well, here's Arkham City. Oh, this is the best superhero game ever made. Make me another one. Drop Arkham Knight. Oh, I hate it.
That's all the internet told me.
Yeah, but then years later, Arkham Knight, oh, greatest game ever. But by then you're like, okay, you're the Batman studio. No one remembers that first game because you're the Batman studio,
right?
So then their fourth game, they're like, okay, you're the Batman studio. What's the next Batman game? What? Where it's a looter shooter where I'm shooting Batman in the face?
Love it. I honestly, I was about to work on a video, and I lost interest after about 6 sets. I was going to make a video, 10 hours of killing Batman, and I was going to have everybody wearing a different suit in every scene. I was working on that for a minute, but I lost.
You should release it as is.
Yeah, I might go back to it.
However many hours you have left of just killing.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, at a certain point, it would just be a matter of like running the loop. But yeah, that was something I was gonna do, but I don't feel like it would matter as much anymore.
Do 1 hour how about when season 1 drops or is about to drop? Drop a video of 1 hour of killing Batman.
Yeah, it's just gonna basically be that scene over and over and over again in different suits every time.
Yeah. So the thing is, like, studios can expand and do some other things, but the trick is always like going to be that perception, because there's this built-in hate in certain sections of the community about live service games in general. Like, even though they're the most played games in the world, live service is a naughty word. You can't, anytime you say live service, it becomes this whole thing. Everyone brings out their biases and the pitchforks come out, and they don't listen to any facts, like, to the point where it was obvious that people literally had to make up reasons to hate Suicide Squad, because
and then it gave them reasons.
yeah, which is unfortunate. But if Suicide Squad had not been a live service game, I definitely don't think the hate would have bin as strong. But
I finally opened the comic.
I still don't have I'm still waiting for my care package, but I'll look forward to opening the comic when it arrives.
I am so stupid. I finally opened the comic. It was the first issue that I was going to leave in the bag.
That was because you were thinking it was going to be a collector's item one day, Jay?
No, I just like to have a copy of everything. I get a copy to open for the code, and then, all right, you know what, guys, here we go.
Skill issue.
All right, well, my loss is going to be your gain. Good luck. I don't know if anybody even has the patience.
I don't.
To try and redeem this key.
I definitely don't.
All right, in the chat, but
type of one in the chat if you care.
I'll just type it in here, and you have to figure it out. ZVUJBJ.
Here you go. Here you go, Jack.
M.
Redeem. Get your redeem on.
YRVUDA9.
First come, first serve.
All right. If you somehow manage to redeem this, you will get the Victor Zsasz weapon doll. Let me know in the chat that you redeemed it. Boom. Good luck. I'm not going to tell you how. Figure it out.
There you go, Jay. dropping some freebies. You never know what you're going to get in the after show podcast.
Yeah. Please,
But,
if you redeem it, let me know that you got it.
but yeah, like Suicide Squad, I feel like live service was definitely the biggest reason why it got the pushback, because just in general, if you're making a live service game ahead of time, there's just going to be people skeptical, especially if it's a live service superhero game, because unfortunately Avengers has tainted that forever. So until we get like a truly great live service superhero game, that Avengers curse is going to linger, because so far, we haven't had one that's broken out yet. I mean, outside of the mobile games, like all the multiplayer superhero games have not been delivering, and the one that probably would have, the Great Web, got canceled before we could even get to it. So
yeah,
we're still living in that Avengers world, unfortunately. But I think it could still definitely work. But you know what I think is most likely going to happen? I think we're going to get another Power. I think Power World is going to open up a lot of opportunities in gaming, because I think people are going to look at that model and that's in that upside and going to be like, okay, well, if we literally just make a thing people want, they'll buy it, and we
yeah,
don't have to spend hundreds of millions of dollars or hire hundreds of people to do it. Like Power World literally hired one of their devs off of YouTube.
right.
Like 55 people, $6 million budget, and they made the best-selling game of 2024 and one of the best-selling games of all time. So I can see that model kind of working, like, Pokemon with guns, but okay, let's do like NBA 2K. Like the it was revealed that over 70% of their revenue is from microtransactions, and that's mainly from people playing My Career, and they're not playing it for the simulation, they're playing it for the park. They like playing in the park, they like playing the pro-am, the rec, they like creating their own character and hooping against other people. That's the main draw of 2K. That's their moneymaker, and that's why people are willing to overlook a lot of BS, because they're the only game in town. There's literally no other basketball game like that they could do it. But if someone took that powered approach and like, okay, remove all the NBA stuff, because we're not going to get the license. We'll just give you like a pure My Park career experience without all the BS. That could be a massive hit. Same thing for a superhero game. Like if people want a Justice League game, or people want some kind of superhero game where you go to school, or you're patrolling a city, or a Superman game. If you just make that on a smaller scale without the licensed characters, that could be a huge hit. Like a game where you create your own superhero. There's a big open world to explore. You got your own powers. You can maybe become a super villain. This whole big interactive multiplayer game with good combat. Like that could be a massive hit. Same if someone did like a Superman game that's basically Superman but not Superman. Like I think there is a lot of potential for that going forward.
What's the one they do in the winter? The Game Awards.
Yeah, Game Awards is December. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think you'll hear anything from TT until then at the earliest.
yeah. WB Montreal. I wouldn't hold my breath on that one. They don't even have a creative director yet for that new DC game they're working on.
I know what TT Games is doing, and I don't think they're anywhere near announcing it.
Yeah, I know too. But the only thing I know about WB Games Montreal, besides the fact that they're looking for a creative director for that new game that they're working on, is that they're mainly right now working as a support studio with Monolith to help them get that Wonder Woman game off the ground. So I would imagine we'd see Wonder Woman before whatever that game is, because it has to be relatively close. DCUO without the IP. Exactly. DCUO without the IP. Like some version of that, but better graphics, better combat, but not DC or anything like that. Original characters instead, for sure. But yeah, Yeah, I think that could be that'd be a big hit because what do people want? Like DCUO is still going on, but people have been waiting for a next gen upgrade that hasn't happened. Like people would love that game if it was just modernized, if it was an updated version. Like people would love a Marvel version of that. People would love just an upgraded version of that. There's a hole in the market.
Yeah, I feel like I do agree with you, but I feel like some of these games, like I feel like Helldivers is somewhat of a unicorn. I feel like Palworld is somewhat of a unicorn. I feel like these are like lightning in a bottle, and I don't know that there's necessarily going to be many one-to-one like correlations that you can really like plan on. I follow Palworld. Like they got announced at the Game Awards, I think like 2 years ago.
Mhm.
And I instantly followed them on Twitter, and they had less than 1,000 followers. And I've been watching their updates for a long time, and I thought it would be cool, but I never thought in a million years it would have done that.
That's why I think it's not necessarily a unicorn in that what Palworld and Helldivers did, you can replicate. Like if you look at the core of what they did, they looked like in the case of Helldivers, they looked at the live service market and they just did the opposite. They just made it as player friendly as possible. But the big thing is definitely going to be the memes. Like you have to be able in this day and age, you have to be able to take advantage of the free marketing that you could get from social media. And I think those are the key. The keys were multiplayer and being and meme potential. You have to, if the game has potential to be massively shared online and build communities and it's multiplayer, I think that's a very strong foundation, with the other one being filling a hole in the market. People, there was a built-in audience for Helldivers, not a huge one, but it had one. And there was also, a hole in the market for a live service shooter that didn't completely hate their players. People, Call of Duty's popular, people, even Call of Duty players will tell you they hate playing Call of Duty. Tarkov was getting stale. There was a potential hole in that market for kind of a low stakes, not as toxic, game for people who like that sort of stuff that wasn't predatory. And for Palworld, there was a big hole in the market for a Pokemon game that people actually wanted.
Well, I mean, I think the thing that I've seen so far is it seems like it's resonated with Nintendo and the Pokemon company, because I feel like they just announced this week like a new division that's going to be making the next game. They announced their next game already, and it's going to be, I think, in the Legends line. So they did Pokemon Legends Arceus, I believe.
Mm.
And I believe the next game is going to be more like that one, because that game was the first game that was like kind of Palworld like,
Right.
where you're like running up into these Pokemon and like running up into a what do you call it? Like a Snorlax, right? You're running around with your character, and the Snorlax is like 3 times your size, and it's amazing, like to see them at scale.
Right.
So and I thought that would be the direction we went, but then with Scarlet and Violet, they went the other direction, kind of more in line with their classic games. And I love the games; they're fun, but they're very dated. They run like garbage on
Yes,
garbage hardware, So yeah, in a way, I feel like that hopefully opened their eyes. Obviously their lawyers are definitely looking at it, but
that they could do about it.
yeah, no, there really isn't. I don't think, is it derivative? Probably. Actually it is derivative.
It's 100% derivative.
They absolutely looked at every single Pokemon character and did something similar or mash them or whatever. And I don't really think there's anything you can do about that because it's not like one to one.
Yeah, they can't. There's nothing legally. There's nothing they can do about it.
They're literally the GoBots, you know.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, I would be shocked if they didn't, light fire under them, because they just took your audience. It's like, hey, we people are so dissatisfied with your products that they bought. We have Pokemon at home.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I didn't buy it. I got it on Game Pass.
Or got it on Game Pass. Like a lot of people did buy it though. And and millions and millions of people bought it, and Nintendo definitely had to take notice. Like, oh shit, we got to get on top of this. Like, as soon as their lawyers told them that there was nothing they could do, they were like, okay, all right, well, we got to make a better game. Like, and they could, like literally, if Nintendo just modernized and just made a better version. Like, all I've wanted for literal years was a true open world Pokemon game where I could run around, run into the actual Pokemon, catch them, fight with them in non-turn-based battles. That's all I wanted.
Sadot, the hater of turn-based.
I'm sorry, it's inferior. It just is.
Says the guy who loved Midnight Suns.
I did. It would have been.
Oh my god! Can we just talk about that for a second?
Coming to PlayStation Plus.
Can we just talk about the fact that, like, I make that joke all the time, calling people cowards for not playing Midnight Suns. All I did was quote tweet Wario64, saying like, because they're cowards. The amount of people that felt the need to lose their shit at that tweet out of nowhere blew my mind.
It's the internet, Jay. Everyone's very sensitive.
I don't understand like how people found it or cared. And my response to that was just to GIF coward. Like, I literally went through every coward GIF in Twitter's catalog. I didn't want to use the same one every time. And like, people were convinced. They were like telling me I was mad at them. The amount of, like, this one guy quote tweeted me and then like acted like a victim when I commented back. That was like a wild day for me, because there was no point in time that I was doing anything but laughing at how sad these people were. And it just blew my mind how they needed to make sure this person they don't know, that they don't follow, they needed me to know how much they hated Midnight Suns, and they didn't even play it.
Jay gets into the weirdest Twitter beefs.
It is funny though. Like I and it's always like when I don't expect it. Like, I did not expect that to happen, because I've done it so many times that this is the time that people were like, I'm not a coward. I just didn't like the game. I didn't like card games. I don't like turn-based.
And to be fair, it would have been a more popular game if it wasn't.
Yeah, but that's gets into what we're talking about though. Like, that is the game that company wanted to make,
and it was very good. It could have been better, even within the confines of what it was.
Sure,
but I was a skeptic, and I played it, and I really loved it.
There were so many bad faith takes though, but there was one person that responded that I was like, all right, cool. I accept that. Like, I was an XCOM fan, and I don't think they did a good enough job making a Marvel XCOM game. I can buy that because you tried it, so you're not a coward.
Exactly.
And like, people like, oh, you're so mad for doing this. Like, I literally bought somebody the game. I bought them the game in the whole thing. Yeah, I'm so mad. You know?
Yeah, you are mad, Jay. You're responding to them on Twitter. Therefore, you're definitely mad.
Yes. Yes.
That's how that works.
That's my favorite type of Twitter engagement. The people that like sit there and tell you how mad you are that literally have no idea who you are. You know, oh, you're so mad. I'm like, okay, bro.
And they
don't know me.
And they never have their actual picture in their
right.
in the profile. There's always
that was wild to me.
Well, I'm sure you deserved it. But Midnight Suns is coming. I believe it's the 19th. So
now, is that an actual game or PS Plus game, or is that like you have to have the PS Plus? Because the wording on that was weird.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's the premium. I'm pretty sure it's not a trial. It's not the trial, because what they'll do with sometimes is the trial. They're like, oh, it's available on PlayStation Plus as a trial.
No, I know it's not a trial, but there's it's part of the Game Pass catalog, or not, PS Plus catalog is what they're calling it. So isn't there like a version of PS Plus that's like Game Pass? So you don't actually own it. Like there's some Game Pass games like, oh, this is March's Game Pass or PS Plus game, and it's just always in your catalog if you have PS Plus.
Yeah. So the way it works is, so you have the monthly PS Plus games where it's like, all right, these are new ones coming to PlayStation Plus for a limited time. Grab these, and then you have the catalog, which are just curated games that are just always there.
Okay.
And you get more access when you go up to
a different tier, the higher tier,
different tier.
Okay, yeah. So I don't have that tier.
Yeah, and then the premium tier allows you to get the game trials and stream the older stuff.
Okay, yeah. So all right, that I didn't like ever retweet it because like I didn't understand. It seemed like it was not the Game Pass or not the PS Plus that I have. I have the basic one. So yeah,
right.
okay.
So the PlayStation Classic March releases for premium is Jak and Daxter, Last Frontier, Cool Borders, God Eats Eater Burst, Phoenix Wright, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and then Midnight Suns as part of the PlayStation Plus March release along with Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. So I think that's going to be the one that most PlayStation Plus subscribers are going to have access to. So PlayStation Plus Extra, I think, are going to be the ones that are going to be getting those. It looks like we'll see. But if you do have PlayStation Plus Extra, you see Midnight Suns, grab that immediately.
Yeah, especially when you don't have to pay anything. Like why wouldn't you want to at least give it a try? I
literally went on PlayStation Plus and I saw Sifu was there. I grabbed it immediately.
Yeah.
It was a game I really wanted to play. I didn't buy it when it came out. I've heard good things, and as soon as I saw it, well, I can literally just grab it. Yeah, yeah, for sure. I don't even know when I'll have time to play it, but I know it's there, and I'll play it, and I'm going to play it.
Yeah, so I don't know. It baffles me, man. Like if you had it's a design choice that they made. Like it's funny how a game like Elden Ring, people will sit there and like ad nauseum talk about, oh, well, it's a design choice. They just they wanted the game to be punishing hard. That's their choice as a developer. But like another developer does something, a design choice, like, hey, we're going to use these cards in our turn-based mechanic. And it's like, but it's a card game, PS2 graphics. It's just wild to me. And like, in there is a game that's not going to be for everyone. I agree. But if you give it a chance, like, I was worried I wasn't going to like it. And I knew about that game for like 2 years before it was announced. It's the reason I was brought into Next Makers. Like, Cammy had left WB. She went to 2K and she said, hey, I've got this game I'm going to be working on. I think you're really going to like it. I'd love to work with you on it. Let's sign this NDA and I'll show you a pitch. And she showed me a pitch for Midnight Suns. And they didn't even announce it for over a year. Like, I know it was over a year. Like, and I just sat there knowing about this game. And like, I worried that I would be really bad at it and that I wouldn't like it, but I really wanted to, and fortunately I ended up loving it. Like, I don't know. I would love to see it keep going.
But unfortunately, like it's a accessibility thing, because if you give it a chance, a lot of people will like it, but is that perception thing.
I played one XCOM game, and it was on Xbox 360.
Skill issue.
I was not very good at it. And I like got to a point where I started naming my soldiers stuff like dumbass, shithead, gonna die, probably gonna die, already dead, zombie. Like I just kept naming it like just dumb names because I knew I was gonna lose them. But I appreciate it. But like, you know, it's just one of those things, man. Like people see the name Marvel and they say mine. I have to be able to play that.
Exactly, and it was definitely a unique choice, because in the past, when you see a Marvel game coming to console, look what we had before. Marvel Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Marvel's Avengers. Unfortunately, even before that, Ultimate Alliance. You know, it's like, you know, they have those expectations for console Marvel games, and then it was just like, oh, it's cards, it's turn based. Like as Elden Ring can be challenging, but it's an easier sell, because at the end of the day, it's a real time third person over the shoulder action game, and people are going to look at that and like, okay, well, I don't usually play FromSoft games, but it's a third person action game. I can get into that. I can look up guys and get all the cheese or whatever, but a card game, turn based.
Yeah. I don't know if anybody was able to redeem this code that I put in chat yet, but that will get you a Zaz Gundall for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. You just got to figure out how to redeem it.
And now, the main reason I did give Midnight Suns a chance is because I played card games before. Like I was a competitive Yu-Gi-Oh player. So I was like, okay, well, I looked into it. I'm like, okay, well, this might scratch that itch.
I wanted to pat myself on the back and say it was me.
Unfortunately, it was Yu-Gi-Oh. Shout out to Konami. They're the true reason why I gave Midnight Suns a chance, and I'm glad I did, because I love the game. I wish it had done better. I would love to have more, but it is what it is. I totally do not blame people for being skeptical and thinking, this is probably not going to be for me. It's a card game. It's turn. When I heard about a midnight, because when I heard about the Midnight Suns game, they didn't lead. I saw the news report about it. Didn't hear anything about it being a strategy game or anything like that. It was just like, okay, it's a game based on the Midnight Suns. You play the hunter. There's going to be RPG elements. There's going to be a base of operations where you run around. You get to play as Blade and Captain Marvel. I was like, this sounds like the greatest thing I've ever heard. Sign me up.
that was your boy Jeff Grubb. When he leaked that, I that was so hard because he was wrong on so many things, and I was just like, oof.
You had the opportunity to dug on Grubb.
Yeah,
You could
NDA had to eat it.
He had to
eat it.
What you should have done is quote tweeted Jeff when it officially was revealed.
No, I'm not like that.
Just to be petty, but High Ruler told me, oh no, slow down, Sadot. It's a strategy game. I was like, what do you mean? So then I followed up and looked at, you know, what the game especially was, and I was like, my excitement level plummeted.
Listen, and that's the thing. I understand like being skeptical about a game, like you hear something, like if we even bring it back to the Spider-Man, whatever, the web of shadow, what is it called?
The Great Web.
Okay, if we even like run it back to that, okay, like I understand looking at it and being skeptical, but there's something broken about gamers today where they can't compartmentalize it and talk about their skepticism without just going full blown nuclear. You know what I mean? Like, it's
sure.
okay to be skeptical, but like, I don't feel like anybody keeps an open mind anymore. You know?
Nuance is dead. Like they're like, unfortunately, usually it's for social media clout, or engagement baiting. But yeah, you have to pick a side, and they look for an easy narrative to jump onto. So they're just going to follow the crowd. So if the mob is like, oh, this game, oh, this is live service slop, you don't buy it. Oh, they jump aboard. Or if the narrative is, oh, this is the greatest game ever. Oh, it's the greatest game. They don't think for themselves. They are ready to jump on whatever. They look at whatever way the wind's blowing, and then they jump right on top of that, and they love it, especially in the superhero realm, because people have their expectations now of these modern gamers. They have their expectations of what Marvel games they want specifically, and if they see the Marvel game or DC game especially that doesn't fit what they want, regardless of the quality, they're going to be mad. Now, to be fair, Suicide Squad didn't do all it could to to ease that skepticism.
Yeah, you know what, man? And that's the thing that sucks, because I'm at a point where I'm frustrated, and we've obviously talked about this before with that, because like, I just, this game needed to be flawless at launch, and it's very frustrating. Not only that it had the issues that it's had, but that here we are, and they're still not like fixed. Like, I don't understand how. Like, I gave them the benefit of the doubt out the gate. You know what I mean? But we are at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, over 6 weeks. Okay, we're at like 6.5 weeks.
40 days according to the post on Reddit as of a day ago.
That's wild. Like, there are people that can't play the game for that long.
40 days, no changes no new skins.
There was that one new skin drop,
and they're mainly like, and they're mainly doing the color swatches. Like,
oh yeah, not so they weren't skins, they were swatches, but you know what I mean. Yeah. I got you.
But no new actual skin. No, a lot of people. Some people still can't play multiplayer. Some people can't even log in. 40 days, and to be fair, we had a breakthrough today, because in their update they mentioned that, which is wild that they didn't mention this earlier in the week, but last week they mentioned, the week before they mentioned they weren't going to do it in a patch, but they were going to try to do some stuff with the servers without having to do maintenance mode or whatever, and fix hopefully some of these login and multiplayer issues. And they didn't give us an update on it, and then until today, where they mentioned that earlier this week they ran some stuff out and it seems to be working better. And me and Jay tested it today, and it is. We actually were able to not only play multiplayer together. We ran an incursion at mastery level 134. Jay, of course, was amazing. He was, soloing everything, and I noticed that we were able to do damage. We weren't having all these lag issues, and more importantly, we were actually able to multiplayer play. We actually able to play. Like, I couldn't even get to the point where I could accept or join anyone. Like, I couldn't do it at all. And now I was able to flawlessly play with Jay and watch him absolutely dominate at mastery 134, as he usually does in all of his content.
The checks in the mail. It's almost like there's video of this, and it went nothing like that. But like the bigger overarching point though is that, like, yeah, like, they fixed it sort of, because we did both tweet it, and we have seen people report back that it's still not working for them, which, classic Suicide Squad. But yeah, man, I don't know. I just
We got another one.
the 2 randoms and definitely multiplayer is working. All right, there we go. So like we're definitely going in the right direction. And on the 26th, it seems like there should be a patch where everything happens.
Yeah, that's it's a fair question. So in the case of Avengers, you had an understaffed community team, and once Andy left, you had a community team who literally just didn't care. But in other cases, like with WB, you'll see that there's like a corporate mandate on to a certain degree on certain stuff you like to say. Now, in the case of Suicide Squad, for whatever reason, they seem to be a lot more chatty in Discord, which I think is an issue that we had with Avengers, where they felt like the devs felt much more comfortable interacting and doing stuff in the Discord because they felt that that was more of a safe space because it was heavily moderated. They could, get rid of any haters or bad actors, and mainly people were there in the case of the Avengers Discord where they're kissing their ass. But once you get on Twitter, well, you can't control the narrative. You can't control that. So that's the true test. And I mentioned this, like the true test with these live service games is your communication, not only is your communication good, is it consistent when things aren't going well? Like before Suicide Squad came out, it was great. It was great. You had, I mean, the over reliance on the Discord was still there, but they were putting out stuff. They were putting out stuff on the YouTube. They were promoting it. They were going back and forth on Twitter. They were tagging people and jumping in and taking feedback and everything like that. And then a few weeks after launch, when things are going bad, all of a sudden now they're mostly gone. You really don't hear from anyone except from Derek, and he's mainly in the Discord when he's communicating. Otherwise, he's just doing a weekly blog. Their Rocksteady's official account isn't tweeting. The Suicide Squad isn't really tweeting. Like Miller even pointed this out. Like in the time, I think he said specifically in the time between the current dev update and the last dev update in terms of the blog, he said Dragon Ball Z, the Breakers Twitter account, had tweeted 25 times.
Yeah.
And the Suicide Squad had not tweeted at all. Just this one tweet for the March update today, and the one they had for last week. And it's not good enough, especially when you look at the teases that they're doing. Like they're doing teases, they're doing the builds, or build guys cool, but people don't really care. Like they're doing teases of season 1, but they're just doing these soundless videos that, and this one shows even less. Like at least last week with the Harley Quinn gameplay clip, we got to see the polka dot man grenade in action. Like we still don't know what it does, but at least we got to see it in action. This week they just showed us an image, a video of a melee weapon, and that is a notorious weapon. That's it. Like we don't care. Like what we're just supposed to do with this information.
Yeah.
Like before the game came out, when they were doing these developer Q&As and stuff like that and promoting season 1, they showed actual gear. Like we actually got to see they were doing the episode deep dives. We got to learn about the mechanics. We got to actually see and hear explanations about the Bane set, what it was, stuff to look forward to. People were doing theory crafting, thinking about what could be. And now it's just like, here's a weapon. Here's a melee weapon. We're not going to tell you what it does or why you should care, but it's coming. It's like, why do we give a fuck? It's coming in season 1, which a lot of people are already skeptical about because of all the game breaking bugs. And you're just showing us a melee weapon. Like, what are you supposed to do with this information? like why are you not telling us in detail some of these weapons? Like in the past, they did a blog where like the one build guide that was legitimately interesting was when they did a dev build guide where they talked about some of the builds that the devs were putting together, and they gave us a preview of some of the gear that we could unlock in the game by actually telling us and showing us, hey, these are what some of the developers are playing on their own builds. We have this piece, this is what it does, and you can use it combined with this piece, and you can make this specific build. That was interesting. That was cool. Now it's like, here's a soundless clip of Harley throwing a grenade. Look at those particle effects. Here's a rotating image of a sword. Like, why do we care? Like, how is that building hype? like we're 2 weeks away from season 1 launching, and we haven't gotten any new Joker gameplay. We don't know what any of the new weapons do. Like what is going on with the marketing? Yeah, literally the only thing we know is that it's a Mad Hatter melee weapon. That's it. So we know there's going to be a Mad Hatter melee weapon and a polka dot man grenade. Okay. What do they do? Why should we care? Like, are these actually good pieces? Like, what can we apply these to our builds? Like, how are they good? Why are they interesting? Like, one of my complaints about the game was that I just didn't think the weapons were interesting enough. I thought, considering it's DC, they could be more creative with some of the weapon choices. And I don't know if they are doing that because we don't know what any of this stuff does. Like, and it's even more silly because we found out that the next patch, which is basically season 1, which is what we predicted was going to happen. The next patch is going to be on March 26th, 2 days before the 28th. That patch is going to have some fixes. They didn't go into specifics about what, and it's going to contain the season 1 update. And then on the 28th, they're going to basically turn the update on. So you're going to have all these things. But guess what? On the 26th, when that patch goes live, Miller's going to be data mining it. So we're going to know what's in it anyway. So why not just tell us some of the gear so we have something to look forward to?
Yeah, I've been so disappointed in all of this, to be honest with you, man, because I believed in this game. I got to go out to California and play it early, came back and had to deal with a lot of people that were skeptical, to say the least, and have to deal with like all these ridiculous accusations about my character. And like, what I played was great, and I was willing to go to bat for it. But I've just been so epically disappointed with how it has progressively gotten worse, like, since the game came out, and the lack of communication. And that's coming from somebody who gets responded to when I tweet. Like, Axel follows me, Dara follows me. Like,
right.
I can say something about the game. Yeah, no, exactly. But there are people that actually believe that, you know, there are people that believe they pay you, but like
they did.
Yeah. But you know, it's wild to me that it's just wild to me that like just how they've tucked and run. And I don't understand it. Like, all the proof is there that if you just communicate, it's hard, especially in their case where they don't have an answer, and the answer they have is not a good answer. Like, I just saw Tricks in our DM, you know, like somebody responded to the tweet. All right, I'm not gonna like mention their name or anything, but just because I don't want to call them out, whatever. But like,
name and shame.
not in this case. This is not one of those situations. So players that haven't been able to play still can't play till the 26th. Like the default thing only works if you can get into the game, right? So what about the players that can't even get into a server because of bugs? That's fair. And that's wrong.
And there's nothing they can do about it.
Well, there is something they could do about it, apparently. Like, there's a patch. Like, I'm sorry, put out multiple patches.
To be fair, they didn't tell us what was in it besides season 1.
And that is the thing, you know? I just don't understand. I don't understand this philosophy. I feel like it's not just hurting them, it's hurting everybody. Like, I think it's safe to say that the way that they're handling this is hurting all of gaming, you know, because the next game is going to have to deal with, well, just like Avengers did, right? So like they're dealing with, this reminds me of Avengers because this is what Avengers did. And then there's us. It's like, well, you know, different situation. I don't think it's going to work out that way. And then it works out that way. It starts to anyway.
Yeah,
they have time to fix it.
For sure.
I'm losing confidence though.
They have a better infrastructure than Avengers.
Right.
But the problem is that once that communication disappears, then it really starts becoming a problem. Like that's always a bad sign. Like it's one thing if communication is consistently bad. Like Dragon Ball Z Kakarot consistently had pretty much the same communication throughout all the way through. But the game, and regardless, and the game was fine. But when you have a game that is doing really that all the stuff, all the communicating, and then things go wrong, and then they stop, that's when, you know, things really go downhill. Like Outriders, you know, respect to Outriders. They had a lot of goodwill because they dropped a free demo before the game came out. People got to test it. It was basically an open beta. People got to test it, play online, and it worked great. Like, it actually worked great. There were almost no problems. Everyone loved it. They were like, this one, Outriders is next up. The Destiny Killer is going to all this stuff. And then the game launched, and it was a fucking catastrophe in every way imaginable. And they blessed the community manager. He stood there, you know, like Jon Snow in that scene in Game of Thrones when the whole army is rushing towards him. He stood there, sword drawn, and went head to head with every toxic fanboy, every valid criticism, every non-violent. He stood there, held his own through all the nonsense until they fixed that game. And they did fix that game. And never at any point there was no months of silence. He was always there, active, communicating, big, not in the Discord, in the Reddit. He was even in the subreddit going crazy. That's how serious he was.
Yeah. And I see that with Cornell Gunter from WB Games. Not WB Games, from WWE 2K. He's basically that guy for them. He's the Ronnie 2K of the WWE games, okay?
Well,
yeah. So
well, people a lot of people hate Ronnie.
Oh, really? All right. Well, I'm not in that world. Yeah. So I just know that Ronnie 2K is like
he's basically
super recognizable.
He's basically the face of the 2K community. Yeah.
Right.
Him and Mike Wang are like the faces.
So that is basically Cornell with the WWE games. And I watch him every day. Like, these fans are just as bad, can be just as bad as every other fan base. Like, blame him. And that's why I actually will make some jokes from time to time. Like, I was having, like, you actually probably saw one of my tweets because you responded skill issue, where there's this one match I had to win.
Yeah.
It's basically the last showcase, and you have to start at number 1 in the Royal Rumble and win it. while eliminating at least 10 people. And I kept getting to like the last 3 to 5 people and just getting bullshit thrown out.
Yep.
And I made a tweet basically blaming him for it happening, because that's what everybody on Twitter does. They just blame him because somebody's not in the game or whatever. It's always funny. Like, but he stands there and graciously like tries to, in good faith, respond to them and stuff like that. And like he follows them, and like he legitimately is a good guy trying to do good and right by his game, with a lot of unreasonable people coming at him.
100%.
And I respect the hell out of that. You know what I mean? And he's a good guy. So
yeah, and you that stands out because of, you know, community managers who don't do it that at all. Like when you have games, especially games that need a lot of communications, that don't have it, or it's only like in a limited place, it's like it's not good enough. Like you gotta, it sucks. You know, believe me, I'm a content creator. I know how annoying it is to deal with the public. So I know, especially on Twitter, you know, dealing with these people, it can be incredibly annoying. But you know, it's part of your job to engage with the community and convince people to care about your game. And I feel like Suicide Squad has just done a poor job of convincing people, because while you might not have a solution to all those problems, you could still communicate stuff. Like they could have communicated that they were trying out a fix this week for multiplayer, and that they saw some improvement, and asked for feedback. And in the meantime, they could be promoting what they do know and what they do have answers for, which is season 1. Like they know the content they're rolling out. Now would be the time to tease it.
Like, yeah, I don't understand it. I really don't, and it sucks because like I do have a great relationship with WB. I love the game. I've really enjoyed a lot of the games. Yeah, the boycotting Twitter stuff is really, because like Mortal Kombat is going through this too. Like it's weird. It's like this big criticism for everything going on with WB right now. Like
they got multiverses is doing this bullshit right now.
I mean, Hyruler, if you would like to join us, we can certainly drop you a link.
Absolutely, we are always ready for a Feet Ruler to join in. But yeah, multiverses. I think that was one of the more refreshing things about multiverses. They actually had good communication. Like Tony was always on, active, engaging with the community, having fun, sharing jokes. He was basically like the CEO of Arrowhead. Like he was basically on that level. So it was great to see him in actual video doing this whole bit as a way to, you know, promote the official launch of Multiverses. I hope that is able to keep up, because the game was fun.
Yeah.
And obviously it was a massive hit, you know, for as long as it lasted during the beta. You know, there was definitely some fall off, but they apparently learned a lot. They rebuilt it from the ground up.
Let's pause. It was never a beta until suddenly it was a beta.
Yeah.
And we all forgot about that.
Well, early access.
Yeah. No, there are seasons. There, like I listen, they pulled it off. Everybody forgot. But was it though?
It was a surprise beta.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, but I agree completely.
Basically, it was early. Basically, it was early. It's basically what Baldur's Gate did. You know, it was like, oh, we're gonna launch the game. Like Baldur's Gate literally sold the game. First of all, they were like, but we're gonna sell it to you one act at a time, and it's early access. So you know, they basically did that. It was like, all right, it's free to play game. Here you go. We got our cash out open. And but it's a beta though, so you know.
But I mean, you're right though. Rebuilt from the ground up in Unreal 5.
Yep. New net code, more importantly, because that delay was No.
But like, and what I loved about it, like I played that game like almost exclusively against bots with friends, and I was happy with that because like I'm not usually into the platformy type of stuff.
But they are adding that PVE mode, and so
Yeah.
I'm going to be doing a bit of both of that. And speaking of going both ways, we have High Ruler in the building, Mr. Feet himself. What's up?
I figured I'd come in, derail the podcast a little bit. So I'm glad you guys can, allow me that presence.
You're right on time. We were talking about your favorite subject, which is hating on Suicide Squad.
Listen, I'm going very easy on these guys right now. Yeah. Oh my, we are like, Jay, how many days has it been?
40 days.
I'm not at that point yet.
40 days.
You might get there because I said today that my cutoff day is the 26th. I said if my issue is not fixed by the 26th, I'm done. Like YouTube be damned, money be damned, the rest of it be damned. I can't put myself through another multi-year experience where I'm looking at every update going, all right, well, what's breaking this time, right? Like, and the fact is, I haven't actually been able to enjoy the game to its fullest in 40 days. Like, that's insane to me.
Yeah, I think that was what I was most excited about when, first of all, when Sadot and I were able to actually play around, do damage. I mean, well, he could, and actually connect and play around. I was like, this is great. This is great. And then I thought about it. I'm like, wait, we're on mastery 134. What's my mastery going to be after this? Same as it was before. And that is when it kicked me in the nuts. I was like, damn it. So close. Almost. So, yeah.
I think the mastery thing is the most annoying because they said that it was an under resolved issues waiting to be released. And they decided, yeah, we're gonna wait until the 26th to release.
Makes no sense. like that's one of those things where you have to, like, if you have that fix, excuse me, you have to put it out like immediately.
Yeah, like there's no way about it. Either they lied about the fix, or I guess they're afraid that they're not going to have like there's no good interpretation of why they would withhold that if it's actually fixed. Like there's like are they worried that they're not going to have enough fixes and they're trying to bundle that update so they have something to spend? Were they misleading about it? Is it not actually fixed, or is it partially fixed? Are they not confident and are still working on it but don't want to say? Like those are the questions people ask when you say, hey, this game-breaking bug, we have a fix for it. We're not going to release it, even though we've done several updates since we announced that. But trust us, bro. It's fixed. Like what is that?
I've never experienced a game before and a game developer basically say that something's fixed and then go like multiple patches without putting that fix in. I don't want to say they're lying, but like obviously something's gone on where they can't put that fix out, but then they also can't remove it from that Discord because then it looks bad. So like, yeah, like whatever answer they have is not a good one, and people are going to be upset, the question has been asked, and it has not been, not even been attempted to be answered. You know what? So my understanding is that for people who have this issue, you actually have to make a whole new Warner Brothers account and like play the game. Oh, yeah. So that's what people have said. I'm thinking that like, is this something like really fixable?
Don't do that. Don't do that. So your everything you own is tied to a Warner Brothers account. Do not like that. Like I know somebody behind the scenes that I worked with when Doom was having his issues. I told him that's what he was told. He goes, never, ever create a new account, because you cannot transfer licenses. Like that's your license. That's your account.
Yeah.
And I know that answer might suck to some people, but you don't want to do that.
Yeah. Just hope that it's fixed on the 26th.
Yeah. You like creating a new WB account could just fuck everything up for
Yeah,
you.
fucks everything else up. Yeah, that's what I've seen. I've seen that on Reddit suggested a few times, and just stuff like that. It's just it's a messy situation. Like regardless of how this will turn out in the next couple of weeks. I mean, like my only saving grace is that I'm literally not here next week because like otherwise I'd be like, we'd go around to like next Friday and I'd be like, well, like what the fuck am I doing with my time here? Like covering this video game that I literally can't play. I actually feel like I'm grifting these people like when they watch my content because like I don't know how you guys feel. I don't know if you guys are actually like playing it more than like just today, but like I don't play this game because I literally can't.
Nope. This is the first time I played in like 2 weeks.
I play it more often than Jay. I haven't streamed it in quite a while, or made a video about it. I'll hop on like just to slowly push up that mastery. Slowly push up towards 200. Just so I have something to do, and that's it. I'll hop on, do a couple incursions, and peace out. Like I haven't streamed it at all. Like I think legitimately, yeah, my last actual Suicide Squad video was 11 days ago, and my last Suicide Squad stream was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I fortunately had WWE videos I was working on for a while, and I didn't play much of anything else during that time. Like I literally have not even loaded Final Fantasy VII yet.
I've only played 2 hours of Final Fantasy VII. So I've been busy. Unfortunately, Spider-Man has had stuff. I've been talking about other stuff. I've got plenty of games I have to play. I have a review I'm working on right now, so I got a lot of stuff to do. But Suicide Squad has been on the back burner.
This is another thing that I have no idea. Like, there are 2 achievements that I have on Suicide Squad that are bugged. They're the last 2 that I need, and they involve like the Riddler stuff. And it like says I haven't finished it. And I've tried doing some of those things over again, and they just don't pop. But on top of that, I was thinking about it because the game is cross progression. When I log on to PlayStation, I can't get any of those trophies because all the Riddler stuff is done. Like it's not in my game anymore, so I have no way to do it. And I've tried doing some of the races and stuff, and it doesn't. So I'm wondering what they're gonna do, because I've had other games where like I log on and it's just boom, it's all there. Like I remember when Spider-Man the remaster came with Miles, like I loaded it for the first time and had a platinum. I had my second platinum. Like they all just popped, So I mean they're just like the little things,
It also had issues with trophies that prevented people from getting platinum.
Not in my case. I have 2 platinums in Marvel's Avengers.
Marvel's Avengers.
It's brutal, man. I don't know. Like I feel like I'm reliving my past here with this game. Like I feel like
we kind of
are, right? And like I sit here some days and I'm like, dude, like why am I doing this to myself? Like this is like brutal. Like is like the money like that I get, which isn't like anything major, mind you, but like like is it worth to sit here and be like, well, here we go. Like it's ridiculous almost.
In my case, the money was worth it, but
at your level, I would play every broken game that like I just saying, like I would fucking chill out for everything at that point.
Even then, I still haven't streamed the game in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I just this week was rough for me. I don't know, man. I hit a wall this week. I edited so much. Like the edits and uploading for all those WWE videos took a lot out of me. Fortunately, they did a little bit. Those videos are not intended to get like a ton of views all at once. Yeah. They usually get views over time, but they got a good amount like, at launch, which is great. But I like had every intention of like streaming Lego 2K Drive the other day.
I saw that, yeah.
And then I loaded it up and I was like, I'm not having fun with this. Yep. Nobody wants to watch this. Like I don't know. I'm not a racing game person, and that is a racing game. It is not a Lego
Not
game.
a Lego game. Yeah.
You know, it is a racing game in a Lego world, and Forza did that too. And I tried it, and it was the same thing. You know, the creator is amazing. Not good at that either. I want to love it, but at least I finally got my level 30 achievement, which was broken for the longest time. So
that's something. Well, I instead of making a Suicide Squad video, I played Battlefront Classic Collection because I got sent an early copy. I was working on another. I was playing another game that Capcom sent me, and I was not playing on. I completely forgotten about Battlefront, and then I got the email, and I was like, oh well, might as well go live. And I was like, oh, this is fun. But I mentioned during the stream, I was like, because I actually did play some PvP. I loaded up and joined somebody and played a match. I was like, oh, this is really fun. People who played the originals are going to love that. Assuming it works tomorrow, I literally told people, now I'm playing it early. I got sent an early copy by the devs. So I know that if my multiplayer experience is not going to be a reflection of yours, because there's basically no one else playing this game right now except creators and media. But I said, but single player was fun and everything else was good. But if the multiplayer works, then sure, it might not. And it did not.
What a man, like this stuff frustrates me. This game in particular frustrates me because I have like a very small soft spot for Battlefront 2 because when I grew up, it was SOCOM 2 and it was Battlefront 2, and I would flip between those. And I was actually very excited when that announcement came back last month. I was like, this is like really sick. Like this is gonna be a lot of fun. And as time went on, I got really apprehensive about it. I was like, something just doesn't sit right. And I'll buy any game. Like money is like no concept to me when it comes to buying video games. I play once and put it down. So I was like, all right. So yeah. But I didn't do it with this one because something just wasn't there. And luckily enough, I didn't, because like that's a disaster. Like I'm sorry, but like, not just like the multiplayer stuff, but like missing cutscenes, and you can't invert your controls, and like there's features that were originally in the original that Asper like patched out or something. Like what a bizarre situation, like all around.
I wouldn't know. I requested it the morning of because I forgot to request it, and now with everybody saying it's so bad, I'm like, well, I'm not gonna buy it.
Well, and that's exactly it, right? Like any sort of thought of me being like, maybe it's like $40, like whatever. Like now I'm like, oh, that $40 can go towards like literally anything else. Like
I'll get it if they do like a limited run games release, like a physical release. But that's it.
Yeah, for sure. Like, and that sort of thing kind of just makes you like actually cynical, like because I definitely had a moment where I was just kind of like really truly appreciating why people would hate like multiplayer games or live service. It's because I was like, just games in general. It's like, fuck, can people just put stuff out that works? Jesus Christ. Like, because I was dealing with like multiple things. Like I loaded the Suicide Squad, and then I was like, because now Suicide Squad, usually when I load up, I have to go through the failure to login thing at least twice before I can get in. And then I was like, oh, and I also can't play multiplayer. And I was like, yeah, whatever. And then I'll play Helldivers 2. And then there are several bugs in that game. Like there's a bug that literally resets all of your gear. So you have to log in every time and change your primary, your secondary, your grenades, your motes, all that stuff back to the default every time you log in. And sometimes the whole thing will just crash as soon as you jump into a mission, and I'll just jump off that like, fuck. Let me get off this, and and then I read about Battlefront 2. I'm like, Jesus Christ, Lord, what is going on?
It's crazy. Like I feel like unless you play like super small multiplayer games or play like really 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 polished single player games, like everything else just comes out and it's broken. It's so disheartening because like you want to get excited for a game nowadays, but then your heart buys into it, but your brain's like, well, last time you did this, and it's like, why would I want to keep putting myself through it? It's so like I don't blame people for being frustrated with like how games launch, because like you want to buy something, and I always tell people not to pre-order, but like some people do. But like even on day one, you see some reviews to come out okay, but then you buy the game and the masses get to it and it just breaks, and you're just like, well, like what did I just spend 40, 50, 60, $70 on? And it's like, oh.
And even the best example, probably the best example, like Power World, small game, 55 team studio, less than $7 million budget, tens of millions of players, massive hit. But that game's also janky as shit. Like when you look at it, like it gets a pass to a degree because it's such a small scale project, and it delivered a fun experience. But even that's janky and not polished. And then you get the big AAA releases, and there's almost always something. Like I think the only game that I've played this year that didn't have new game that didn't have problems was Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
But that did have problems for some people. Like I saw that like their like game designer or whatever like had to like apologize to fans for the issues they were having. Is that game only 30 frames per second or something? Because I saw something about like
I don't know
a frame rate issues or whatever.
I didn't even see it. See, I didn't even see any of that. The only complaints I saw about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth were weirdos complaining that Tifa's tits in the flashback were nerfed or something because they wanted to see the cleavage of a 15-year-old girl. So that's why they were mad. That's the only backlash I heard about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Otherwise,
listen, if you can't play Final Fantasy one-handed, Sadot, are you really playing Final Fantasy? Like, come on.
Like I understand during the beat scene, but what do we like? How is this a complaint? Like it's literally a flashback. Like
I was trying to make a thumbnail earlier, for like there's a Pokemon had Horizons
I saw this
come
tweet.
out.
That's
on Netflix, and they did a code in Scarlet and Violet for Liko, one of the characters. You could get her Sprigatito in the game, and
this already sounds dirty.
Yeah, so she's like a 11, 12-year-old girl tops. All right. So I was just trying to get make my thumbnail, and I was just trying to get like a PNG file of her so I could put it on the thumbnail. And when how it recommends like recent searches or like recommended searches, it's like Liko in bathing suit, Liko Pokemon Horizons. Oh god, I should just pull up the tweet. It was
what have you been
like,
searching for?
There was like age as well.
Like, oh yeah, there's like asking her age. It was Pokemon Horizons Liko swimsuit episode.
Jesus Christ.
Pokemon Horizons Liko age. Pokemon Horizons Liko fan fiction.
Oh, that sounds wholesome.
Sunny vacation episode.
I'm sure that was fine and not problematic at all.
Pokemon Horizons Liko father. Yeah,
father. Okay.
Yeah, I thought about maybe they're googling to see if they were the father. I don't know, but I was it's wild. I can't even. Yeah, weird.
Yeah, a lot of those people are hungry. Like if you're gonna play one-handed, make sure the character is of proper age.
True.
Yeah.
Like Stellar Blade.
Yeah. So anyway, go ahead.
High Roller is a big fan of Stellar Blade, I hear.
True. Yeah. I love my jiggle physics in video games. I actually saw a tweet today. It's an interesting tweet. I don't know. Maybe I'll bridge this conversation. Do you guys care if you play a game if the character is like attractive, like at all? Like, do you find like you need to be physically attracted to a character to play a game? If it's a woman main or male lead, for those in the chat.
I know people that will, like, when they create their own character, they make them as a female for that reason.
Sure.
But I don't care. Like if there are scenes like that, sure, it's helpful, but like I don't honestly even go out of my way to think about it.
So I don't. My priority is the game itself. I mainly care about the game itself being good. If it's there, it's definitely a well added bonus, and will definitely garner more goodwill. And in general, I just think it'll definitely sell more. But it's not a deal breaker. I don't care at the end of the day. Like I played Returnal, and I enjoyed Eternal for what it was. Even though I was not attracted to the character whatsoever, and she was in a suit the whole time. And I also love Control, but not because the main character was attractive, which she was, but because it was a badass telekinesis game with a really cool, trippy sci-fi stuff.
It's interesting because like I've seen it on social media the last little while that like people are very adamant that like they have to like be like very physically attracted to like their main character in a story. So it's just it's interesting because like for me, I've never really cared personally. Like I don't care if like the main character is like someone I would like theoretically fuck. But like there's a lot of people who are like that's like their main concern, and I'm like, oh, okay, all right.
I think we should like start saying some like wild things because Sadot's like stuck on that smile, and like everybody can be like, man, oh, Sadot's really into this conversation. Yeah.
All right, so
his
when
camera
you look at
his
sorry,
camera
Jay.
freezes from time to time.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
All right, so you guys, if you guys don't know, Sadot has a secret YouTube channel where he reviews NSFW games, and that's why.
Nice try, Shockblast.
Listen, I have many receipts that need to get paid back.
Yeah, you're keep dreaming, pal. You've got way too many to ever make up. But I think the reason why it's become a bigger deal is because like back in the day when we were growing up, maybe not Jay because when he was growing up, games weren't invented yet. But
I literally had an Atari 2600 and an Intellivision.
But I'm talking about like in the early 2000s, that era. It wasn't a big deal because it was just everywhere. Like you have games with like attractive women in it, attractive men. Games where it wasn't emphasized, and games with that this fan service was the main selling point. Like Dead or Alive beach volleyball. And no one cared. It wasn't really a big deal. Those niches were there, but then when gaming started evolving, you started having more kind of activist types move in and start trying to bring some of this stuff down. That's when players started getting really territorial and possessive because like, what do you mean you want to take away my anime movies? Like what? like the main reason I play is so I could stare at the butt of the main character. What do you mean? What do you mean you want to take that away? Woke, it's woke.
True.
And so that I think if it was like backward how it used to be, it wouldn't be a big deal at all. Like people wouldn't be so possessive of it because it's just a natural state game. But when you try to take something away from people, that's when it starts getting weird and possessive and territorial about it. That's why I think people are like hyping up Stellar Blade more than they probably normally would. Like if Stellar Blade came out, like 10 years ago, no one would care. Like they would judge the game on its own merits, is because the hot character, the jiggle physics, that wasn't really a novel, concept. It just is what it is. Like it's like, okay, what else is there to this game? Like Nier was doing that, for quite a while. So it's not like Eve is going to be the first, female protagonist, cutting up monsters, that's partially a robot, with their butt hanging out through the whole game. Like that's literally been done a lot. But because there seems to have been this kind of hole in the market with the developers moving away from that type of game, now it's created this kind of demand where people feel like they're starved for horny games. And it's just like I need my horny game, and people could be very, very weird about it. But I do understand why some people would be bothered. Like, not even just, it'd be one thing to just like scale it back, but like I think it's more so the motivation behind it, because it's usually accompanied by like hypocrisy. Like, you'll literally see like the same publication will like lecture fans for making bikini mods of a Resident Evil character, but then in literally weeks later in the exact same publication make an article gushing about a mod that lets you see Leon Kennedy's junk. It will be the blatant hypocrisy where it's like, oh, it's okay to sexualize the male characters, but the people, hold on now, the male gaze now, wait a minute, which is also like a sexist thing to say, because it implies that women don't think other women are attractive either. like everyone likes anime boobies. Like, it doesn't matter what your gender is.
True.
Especially Jay.
Nezuko, you know.
Jay, you're not going to beat those allegations, Jay.
I'm gonna let that one go. Yeah,
it's a joke. It's an inside joke.
It is, but
I mean, it's never, like a joke of, yeah.
What do you make an inside joke publicly?
Because I did not actually know her age, and I don't remember exactly how it started. He
fell into the trap. I was like,
I was baited.
Yeah, he thought I was gonna. I'm not sure if he saw the adult version or whatever, but I know he's seen the other version. He did. I was like, how old do you think she is? And I think he said like 20 years. I was like,
yeah, I answered like I thought she was an adult,
and I was like, bro, she's like 12.
And I told him he was lying.
I feel like the rule of anime is that like always assume that if they look on the younger side, you go about 5 years younger than what you think.
But I did point out that I saw some kind of a figure where she had like boobs hanging out of her shirt.
Yeah, that's her adult form.
Yeah. So like that, in my defense, is what I was basing it on.
Actually, their actual rule of anime is actually the younger the girl looks, the older she is in universe. So if the girl looks 25, she's probably 16, and if she looks 10, she's probably 800. That's
crazy.
That's usually how that works.
Now I understand why all you anime weebs are like so confused.
That's usually how it works.
And need body pillows.
It's quite the ride you go on when you start watching that.
Genshin is pretty pretty like that.
Dude, that's a whole other ballgame topic. Oh my goodness.
Get your in, man. I remember I played that game for like I think a couple of hours, and I hit like the cap where it was like, oh, you have to grind past. I'm like, no thanks. I'm just gonna stop here.
Those games are just so abusive to like your time. Like it's brutal. Like I don't understand what the big hook is. Like I guess it's just gambling for like your characters you want, but like
it's literally gambling and waifus.
Yeah, like it's so like I'm gonna say something. You know what? If you play gacha games, you actually need to speak to a therapist. Like you actually need like legitimate like gambling therapy, and like to actually have someone like psychoanalyze you. You get nothing out of it. Like you lose your time, you lose your money, and you probably don't have any friends. So it's like
it's not gambling if you're winning.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think Hyrule is just jealous that he didn't get any good pulls.
I get pulled every couple of days, and I don't need Genshin for that.
That's all. Damn.
I mean, you know what? To be
how old are you, Hyruler?
He just needed everybody to know.
Yeah, I just, guys, listen. How often do I get to be on here? I got to make the most of this.
You just brag about getting handies every couple of days.
So my life doesn't really have a lot going for it right now, so I got to take my wins where I can get them.
Whenever this is actually slightly off topic, but also on topic. Whenever my ex offered offered me a handy, I look at her like she was a fucking idiot.
No.
It was like, what do you think your mouth
Like,
is
really?
for?
Like, you just going that far? Like,
I was
really?
like, what am I, 12? Fucking suck my dick or don't. Don't touch it. What do you mean? What are you doing?
If I say any more, my Disney trip might be canceled.
Like,
So.
this is not a massage parlor. What are we doing?
All right. What are we doing at Disney?
Great question. So, you know what? I feel like I've come to the right place.
You
So
have-
I don't have tickets right now to build my lightsaber. Do I go and spend all that money to build a lightsaber?
Yes.
No, build a droid instead.
That's a thing.
Yeah, you can build your own droid, and it has a remote control, and you can actually use it. That's what I did when I went.
Yeah.
Look, the lightsabers are cool, but they're huge, and you have to bring it home. And maybe
Yeah.
you'll ship it. I don't know, but it's. I think it's cool in theory. Like, and if you really want a lightsaber,
Is it easier to carry than a droid?
no, because the droid's about this big, and it comes with a special box with a handle that makes it so much easier. And I think it's like half the price. And
Easier,
it's
easier to carry than a lightsaber?
yeah, it's not like the lightsaber is like. It's like,
Well, they give you the carrying case, right? So yeah,
but
and
it's still huge and awkward.
yeah, it's not a retractable blade, right?
That's
So
not retractable blade.
Yeah.
But
But
then,
the droid, they have like a special box where it fits all nicely, and it has a handle, so it's like made for flying home with it.
but
I mean, I can send you a picture.
But Hyrule can't sit on a robot, so that's the other thing.
You know, I do need some sort of excitement every day.
Yeah.
Oh, let me see if I actually have a picture of
I mean,
it.
he's only getting pulled every few days, so there's definitely a
There's
gap.
some off days in there. Yeah, exactly. I gotta fill those gaps somehow.
No, Stellar Blade is not coming out till April, so
I
I
mean,
got a lot of
obviously,
time.
if you are like hell bent on getting a lightsaber, I totally get it. We originally booked the lightsaber, and then I was like, no, I saw the droids, and I was like, no, I don't want the saber. I don't want to carry it. I want the droid, and the droid was so cool.
Is it like similar? Like, so the one thing I liked about the whole lightsaber experience was like the cinematic feel of it, right? Like, it's very interactive. Is this similar in that sense?
Yes,
Where like
you literally go into a droid factory, and they like all the parts are on like a little conveyor belt, and you put it together. Like there's like all these different instructions.
that's why Disney is getting carried by the parks.
Yeah,
it's wild, man. Like it's $250 US to build the lightsaber right now. Like, and then to buy the ticket to get into the park too. Like it's wild.
how did I not post a picture?
That's
of
nothing
this?
to Hyrule. He's been making a lot of money off of OF selling those feet pics.
Listen, someone's got to do it. There's a market gap there.
I will
mean,
say,
it's big money. It's big money.
all right. All I can show you right now is the actual droid. I thought I had pictures of like the conveyor belt and everything, but I don't. But this is the droid that I built.
Oh, that's cool looking.
Yeah. So like, you put the arms on. Wait, hold on.
The head looks stupid. The rest of it looks cool.
I liked it that it wasn't circle like the R2 head, but like
Yeah.
I picked the legs.
It looks like
the head.
looks like you took a bucket of KFC and dumped it on top of your droid.
Yeah. You pick these little. I mean, I'm assuming they have this at Epcot. This was in California.
Oh, okay.
But like, and there's an actual remote control that you can see. Like, it's in the Jawa salvage.
Right.
Like, there's an actual. This was Disney California. But yeah, it's like there's all buckets of parts. The Millennium Falcon, a little disappointing, but still worth it. I definitely am glad we waited in the line. But yeah, you're gonna have a good time. I personally liked building the droid.
Yeah,
I thought it was cool.
if that's cheaper, like I'll probably just do that. to be honest.
Yeah, I want to say it was like between 100 and 150.
Oh, that's nothing.
Yeah. So this was back when the park was still newer in California. So this is 2019. So obviously it's been 5 years since then. So it probably is better now. And obviously Orlando instead of California. The food, oh god, I shouldn't have. The food was awful though. Hold on, let me.
Really? That bad?
Yeah. This
Oh,
is
no.
what we had in the Star Wars cantina.
What is
What
that?
the fuck?
It's chicken, mashed potatoes, and some weird green gravy.
Oh,
I think I'm gonna be sick. That looks
Yeah.
like
that looks
it's
worse. That looks like worse than the cafeteria food at my inner city school.
And I was literally about to say, like, I wouldn't even expect 5-year-olds to eat that. Like, that's brutal.
That's literal slop, Jay.
Yeah, this though, I will tell you, the second we turned the corner and saw the Millennium Falcon, I like almost cried. Like it was literally like one of those moments in your life where you're like, you know, it's not the real thing, but it's like, oh my god, I just like it's there.
I would have cried when I saw that fucking terrible food.
Well, here's the thing.
Like,
that was like the best thing they had.
I paid how much to get in there?
I don't even remember how much we paid for that, but it was not cheap either.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
That's outrageous.
Yeah, that was yeah. So, but I mean, listen, you do what you want. Here, I don't know if you have to do this anymore. I almost threw a Disney fit. Well, no, I did throw a Disney fit. The cantina, like, we had to book an appointment to go in.
Yep.
And I don't know if that's still a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing.
But book it, because by the time that we knew that you had to do that, because you didn't have to up until like a week before we were there.
Oh my god.
It was booked for the day. And they're like, well, check back and see if there are any cancellations. So we did. There was a cancellation for like 9:00 at night. And we literally sat there for like 4 hours waiting for it. Because we were ready to be done.
If I sat for 4 hours and I got handed that, I would throw it at a
No, that's not the food. That's the like the bar, And let me tell you, the cantina is awesome. Like, I'm glad we waited those hours to get in there. Shout outs to the super wife for like not giving a shit about Star Wars.
Did they serve us slightly more? Like, what did they serve?
Drinks, alcoholic beverages, and non-alcoholic.
So you just got hammered.
I feel like you got to go to the cantina first and then eat that food.
Yeah. I mean, the food surprisingly wasn't bad. It just looked gross. But yeah. Yeah, so the parks are so expensive though. Like, I was shocked at like how small Disneyland was. And like they had the California Adventure and Disneyland like split in half. And I swear to God, those two parks are the size of Disney World.
That's crazy.
And you had to pay to get into each one of them. So, yeah.
That sounds like it. You said, and Hyrule said gotchas are scam. This sounds like a fucking scam.
Listen,
amusement parks are brutal.
I'm glad that we went, because that Star Wars area alone, like it was worth it. Like, it was honestly, like, if you're a Star Wars fan at even a moderate capacity, like, it's awesome to like see it and feel it and experience it. The Millennium Falcon ride was kind of lame. I thought you actually went through like into the Millennium Falcon, but that's just all display.
Wake me up when they open a My Hero Academia park.
I didn't even get to see the Avengers stuff in California, because it was in the California Adventure section. I was like, well, oh well.
I'm sure it was similarly overpriced.
Yeah, well, I was just there for the Millennium Falcon. Like, that whole trip was wild, because like my cousin-in-law was getting married in Vegas.
This is a true stereotype. American food is very large for the prices.
Yeah.
Can't confirm.
But so especially,
like especially if you go to the hood and you go, I recommend going to a halal spot, They get yourself a nice little platter. They'll give you literally, especially if it's a Jamaican spot too, they'll give you like this much food, and it'll be like $20. You have enough food for a week.
We so cousin was getting married. My in-laws were like, well, if you to Becky and her sister, they're like, oh, if you guys want to go, we'll pay for your flights. So we're like, all right, fly us to San Francisco a week early, and we will drive to Vegas from San Francisco. So we drove down Pacific Coast Highway, went to San Francisco, visited one of my friends that lives out there, went to a Giants game, drove down the Pacific Coast Highway, which basically is hugging the Pacific Ocean the whole way. There are some spots where it's a little sketch. Then we were going into LA, and it came down to, all right, we found out Dane Cook was playing that night, or we could go to a Dodgers game. Now Dane Cook's from Boston, so no, we went to the Dodgers game. So we went to a Dodgers game, and then we went to Disney the next day, and then we drove from LA to Vegas. We also visited my YouTube partner in Beverly Hills, and he brought us to this like Korean barbecue place that was amazing.
How's your YouTube partner doing these days?
I was about to ask that question.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but bad things so far.
Well, my rep is on maternity leave, so it was a little tough to get in touch with him. But it's all fine now. We resolved. I've actually like never really had any issues. It's just this time when I needed something, I couldn't get in touch with him. And it wasn't his fault, it was just.
Why would I travel outside the U.S. for that food when I can order it on my phone and not leave my house?
Let me tell you, I remember there was this place in Jacksonville, Florida. When my dad died, we actually did go there for lunch. It was this little Chinese place. It was called New China, and I went there on lunch like every day, and I got the General Tso's chicken. It came with obviously General Tso's chicken and some rice, and I got like a large Diet Coke. It was like $10, and it was enough food to like feed me forever. Like it was a steal. Like good.
Of course, Jay ordered the most tourist in America. The only thing more American he could have ordered is chicken wings and French fries.
Listen, I love fried rice. I love General Tso's chicken. Sue me. Don't sue me. You would.
I would actually, but yeah. When I was in New York, when I was for school, I found this spot near campus. It was a Chinese spot, but they only served Mexican food. Like it looked like aesthetically, it looked like every Chinese store you've ever seen in a black neighborhood. But they only sold Chinese. But they only sold they sold like tacos and stuff. And
it was like the best stuff you've ever had.
The best fish taco I've ever had. Best tacos in general I've ever had in my life. It must have been an MSG or whatever, but it was unbelievable. Not a single person of Spanish descent anywhere on the property, but they had nothing Chinese.
That reminds me when I was at Summer Game Fest, I was looking for a Chinese restaurant near the hotel, and the closest thing I could find, it was like a weird name, and they had Chinese food, but they also had like Creole food, like Louisiana style Southern, like that's what they served. Is like it was awful. Like what I got, like the Chinese food I got was terrible. I was so mad because it was like I had to walk a little bit to get to it, and I was like, this isn't safe. I shouldn't do this. I'm all alone. Whatever.
You're a man, Jay. It's not the same. You'll be fine.
You know what though? It's LA, and I have another story about New York City.
The worst that could have happened was you getting stabbed or beaten to death by a homeless.
Exactly, dude. So I'm in New York City. It was what was I there for? I think it was when I went to see Aquaman in New York City. Hotel I'm staying at did not have vending machines of any kind. And I was like so thirsty when we got back from seeing the movie and everything. It was actually a really nice hotel, but they just didn't have vending machines. So like
could have been that nice though.
Well, believe it or not, there are more hotels than you think that actually do this. I've come to find. So I'm like, all right, well, where's the closest place I can get a drink? There's like 2 in the morning.
Wait, so there's no mini bar, there's no room service?
Nothing. Well, there's like 2 in the morning, so like there's nothing open. The closest there's like a bodega, like 5 blocks away. Now I walked down to the lobby in like shorts, a t-shirt, and sandals. It's December in New York City.
Of course.
I proceeded to
every stereotype.
Walk all the way down like the 5 blocks to this bodega at like 2 in the morning by myself with like completely underdressed for the situation. And I bought like 5 Gatorades and like walked back. It was...
That's why no one messed with you, because they assumed you were dangerous.
Yeah, well, you know, so.
Why is this white man walking in his shorts at 2 o'clock in the morning in
Yeah.
December?
Yeah, it was that was one of those things, but I don't know.
It's actually probably effective camouflage if you think about it.
Yeah, maybe.
You either want to look tough or like someone who's like not worth talking to. Or rather,
yeah, fair.
They probably looked at you as like, yeah, there's no way he has money.
Like the Adam Sandler look, pretty much.
Pretty much. Like, if you look, I think those yours people are on or something. Like, if you always look homeless, no one's going to bother you.
There you go.
Unless they recognize you from YouTube.
Oh, I doubt that's going to happen.
You're famous, Jay. Don't be silly.
I've been recognized at a pool once.
Hey, that's all right. That's still once.
That you got recognized. Yeah, I've never been recognized out in public. Only get recognized online when I'm like playing a multiplayer game.
I did get recognized at Summer Game Fest. Like everybody was in the lobby before the show, and they're like, I was actually talking to Alan from WB, and like somebody walks up to me, is like, "Oh, JayShockblast," and like completely threw me off. I was like, "Me?"
Yeah, he couldn't believe Ed Boon like knew who he was and was like a fan. He was like, "Ed Boon? Holy shit!
No.
You watch my videos? Oh my god!"
No, it was. I was like, "Wow, that's crazy." I'm actually I don't know if Hoarder's still here, but I'm looking forward to PAX East this week because I know he's going to be there.
Oh,
so I'll get to meet him.
So eventually, Jay's going to meet up with all the Avengers people. He already met Slip in Casual.
No Casual.
No, not Casual. He almost met Casual.
Almost. He abandoned me. He didn't.
Yeah.
One too many deep dish jokes.
What's the lore, by the way, with Casual not here on Friday nights? Have I missed like?
Just work.
He's just a busy man, and
he's working. I thought he's on his pension.
I have no idea. I'm guessing
he's actually a few years away from pension.
Oh, okay. He's not there yet. All right.
Yeah. So
the joke just came to me.
He's a busy man. So if this was a more profitable podcast, then we could get him to quit his job. But we're not pulling in the big money yet. Are we even still uploading? Is Jay still even uploading the stuff to the Spotify? Like, how many episodes are we behind?
So many that like it's overwhelming. Yeah, like I like there was a point where I went back and I was like, I'm gonna start doing this, and I put one more up and I was like, fuck, there's so many more. What am I gonna do?
Just a couple of days, Jay.
Yeah,
that's all I ask. I do the thumbnails. I do all that stuff. The only thing I wasn't doing was uploading them to Spotify or whatever. Originally I would just download them and edit them slightly and then send them to Jay. But because we're using StreamYard, it's convenient. Like it'll auto record, so all you have to do is just download, click.
Yeah, I gotta get to that. This is a rough week for me. I don't know what it was. I had a mental block this week, and
we need to hire an intern. Unpaid intern.
how can we give them college credits?
Yeah, we can. I mean, depends on what their major is. We could probably make something up if they're like doing one of those woke courses. Like we could just
true.
I could just write. As a black man, I can actually just write them a note and they'll pass the course. Like so.
I love that.
So it's fine. But if you need a college course in African American studies, you need some extra credit, just hit me up. Write you a recommendation. You can say you worked with a BIPOC creator. You probably actually would get extra credit.
Maybe I can put that on my resume.
You probably could.
I'm actually gonna take this segment here that I've been with you guys, and I want to make sure any sort of branding that I use now, it's gonna be as featured on the after show with Sadot and Jake. I have to make sure Sadot's first for the credit,
Absolutely.
Obviously.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I think it flows.
Diversity
I think it flows better too.
Yeah, Sadot and Jay sounds much better, and obviously, affirmative action. I have to be first.
Listen, I'm gonna give you so little that I'll let you have that.
Jay can't argue with me because I got called the N-word while playing Helldivers. So he has to go along with my jokes.
That's insane. Holy shit.
I named and shamed.
He did. But
that's crazy. People are still using that, eh?
It's Helldivers. Are we surprised? Are you surprised that community has actual Nazis in it?
Yeah, true. Like, I think the whole satirical thing flies over a lot of heads.
Very low IQ fan base.
Absolutely, you absolutely knew there were people who weren't going to be in on the joke.
It's funny because like you say that I saw on Twitter today, like someone was like, "Are we like the bad guys?" Because I guess there was like a leaked thing of like the new enemy, and they like it was leaked with this voice line or whatever. And the new enemy basically says like, "We're gonna fight you, and when we beat you, we're not gonna kill you, enslave you, whatever. We're actually just gonna leave you alone." And so someone literally was like, "Wait, are we the bad guys in Helldivers?" And people had to be like, yeah, like we're playing the bad guys here. And like I was like, dude, there's no way someone literally picked up Helldivers, played it, and was like, wow, we're really the good guys. I was like, dude, there's no way. Like,
yeah, there's absolutely way because those people vote Republican every year. Yeah, Patriot. Well, finally a game that respects the flag. Woo!
Listen, I'm not an overly political person, but God, can we just like disqualify both people running?
Can we just? I nominate Jay.
I would change the world.
Jay, I like Jay's profit sharing idea. That's a good policy.
Yeah, I would give tax breaks based on the amount of profit sharing a company has.
That's right, and a free video game for everyone.
Yeah,
of their choosing.
Sweet.
Once a year.
Of my choosing? Oh my god!
Once per year. That's Jay's official policy platform.
I'm becoming an American. I'm gonna wrap myself in the flag.
That's right. See, Jay's already got 2 votes.
I would push a button and have all of the debt in the world paid.
Boom.
So like we just create new money. Some people would be super rich. But
hold on, Jay. You start
everybody
talking
be
like
debt
that. Ooh, that's a. You start talking like that, you're gonna have some people in your Twitter mentions in about 10 minutes.
Oh God,
my goodness.
Listen, satire.
Jay, you're not supposed to talk about the debt clear button.
Oh,
that's supposed to be. You're not supposed to say the quiet part out loud, Jay. No one's supposed to know about that. Don't listen to him. He's just a Alex Jones conspiracy theorist. There's no money. Money is not created out of thin air. There's no debt clearing button. Go back to sleep.
Close your eyes.
Close your eyes. Turn on Helldivers. Go.
I would also
about democracy.
I would also push the button that like repaves all the roads, so I don't have to deal with these potholes. So they would just be done. Like just press the button, all the roads are fixed.
That'd be nice.
If you were president, I would. The first thing I would ask Jay is to send me the Epstein client list. Because
I would absolutely do that.
Because I'm actually curious. And the P Diddy one.
So wait, what's the lore behind P Diddy? Because like I know he's in a lawsuit right now, right? And then like through that lawsuit, he's like a bunch of people have been named like as affiliated with him or something.
So basically, there have been rumors for years about P Diddy's various activities. Like apparently he was allegedly the person responsible for Biggie's murder, and allegedly has something to do with Tupac. But there also been rumors about his sexuality, him engaging in in sexual conduct, sometimes with people that he brought on as artists, sometimes artists that were on the younger side, and there was one woman, Cassie. She was briefly a popular R&B singer, mostly known for being very attractive, but she worked with Bad Boy. She was in a relationship with him, and then she made these allegations that he'd been abusing her for years and doing all this other stuff. So he settled like immediately for like a obscene amount of money, and people were like, hmm? and then a bunch of allegations started coming out. A former producer starts spilling all the tea, saying, yeah, Diddy used to have these basically sex parties where he would bring people in, trap them, record them, have them do like some sexual activity and use that as blackmail material. There was allegations that he shot someone and had the LAPD cover it up. There were allegations that he abused women, he abused men, including Usher when he was younger. Is basically like Epstein Island for black rappers and R&B singers.
Holy.
Yeah, and
aren't you glad you asked?
It's
I feel like I just opened a can of worms here.
It's actually a really bad situation. It's actually a pretty crazy situation. More stuff has been coming out in the news over it. But yeah, that's the current Diddy situation.
My god!
Currently, a producer suing them. He's got a bunch of photos and video, and he's saying, yeah, this is all the dirt, and we'll see how that comes out in the trial. But yeah, Diddy is he's not a popular man right now.
I could tell. It's like, yeah, I mean, I regret asking a little bit. I could have gone my whole life without knowing any of this.
Yeah, same. Yeah, it's like the Vince McMahon situation, but worse.
Oh my god. Yeah, the Vince McMahon situation is you know what? It's interesting because I think Jay can speak to this, that like ever since, and this has gone back a couple of years though, but like ever since they started distancing themselves from like Vince McMahon, I feel like the overall product has gotten way better. Not just creatively either, but like I feel like almost the perception of like the outside looking in at it. Maybe I'm just like rose-colored glasses, but like on TikTok nowadays, I see a lot of like sports teams will like acknowledge Roman Reigns and they'll do all these like fun little memes, and I can't imagine Vince McMahon and his compadres leading the charge and like having any sort of like outside interaction with like a lot of these like major sports teams, even in like a meme or whatever. You think so?
No, I don't. You're
okay.
You're really right.
Yeah, it just feels like everything's
so.
changed.
To be fair, I have no involvement whatsoever in wrestling, so I'm not an expert.
Well, let me just put you this way. The other night, I logged on to Twitch, and in my recommended, I saw that Mia Yim was streaming Helldivers. I don't know if she's married to Keith Lee. She's a female wrestler. So
Keith Lee, the food critic,
not that TikTok? Keith Lee. No. You bask in Keith Lee's glory. He's in AEW now.
The only Keith Lee I acknowledge is the TikToker who talks, who tells me God bless and have a nice day while reviewing Feud.
So I clicked on it out of curiosity, and in the stream with her was Shayna Baszler and Dakota Kai. So like all three of them and another girl that was part of Ronda Rousey's crew.
Wait, you said Dakota Kai?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yes.
Dakota Kai.
Yes, the same Dakota Kai that I met in Salt Lake City.
I don't care.
Anyway, but like the point is, 3 WWE wrestlers were all streaming Helldivers.
Right.
And I know Sadot probably doesn't know this, but Vince
I do know this. So.
Pulled them off of Twitch. Like he would not let anybody stream on Twitch and would not let anybody on YouTube. Like you had to go through him. You couldn't like it was a big deal. And that ended up getting fixed before he left. But that like gives you an idea of like how far gone Vince was. Wow. And now you've got like 3 of them just sitting there spreading communism together.
They should be playing Marvel's Avengers.
Well, yeah, I tried.
True, they should be.
But yeah, like it's just crazy. And then you've got like obviously Xavier Woods with his up, up, down, down.
Of course.
And this week, like you've got Triple H showing off his new 100 million subscriber play button that they sent him. The 10th channel to reach that.
I know that person.
Yeah. So it's like
I actually have several AAA action figures. Action figures in my basement still, probably.
Nice. Yeah, so it's just one of those things where like it's been great, I think, for WWE with Vince to be gone for so long. People thought that like if Vince goes, then the product is going to be deteriorated, the stock price would plummet and stuff like that. But now they're privately owned by TKO, and none of that matters. And all that matters is, making the product better,
Exactly. But even though the product's getting better, Jay still can't beat that Royal Rumble vote.
Oh no, I beat it.
He finally won?
Yeah, but I beat it on stream. And I started the stream thinking I'd be going for like a couple hours, and I beat it my second try.
Boom. So you just waste everyone's time?
Yeah. Basically.
Clickbait.
So it was, then I turned into a video that nobody watched. So it is what it is.
Oh, so karma. Yeah.
Hey, listen, I beat it. It's over. I feel better. We're good.
Now you just have to beat Elden Ring, and then you'll be complete.
I'm all good.
We gotta get Jay one of these days to do an Elden Ring stream.
I don't think Jay's controller would last.
Do not ever look up the one-time Jay streamed Cuphead.
Oh, please look that up.
That's good. That's good lore there.
It's if you're in the know, that's gold. That's amazing. That's an amazing video.
Yeah,
I absolutely love it. Yeah, that's the closest Jay ever came to Afro Senju. like if you've ever watched his streams in particular, like when he rages or the fighting game, holy, like especially during this whole run up to purple when playing Tekken 8, like he will actually break controller.
Yeah,
that's crazy. It is crazy. I'm not a rage gamer, but maybe I should to get some of those views up. Be like Kai for YouTube, Kai Sinet.
Dude, he just did something crazy. I don't know how much lore people keep up with, but like, didn't he make someone in like Nigeria a millionaire? Just like handed them money, it's crazy.
I knew he was going to Nigeria. I didn't keep up with. I didn't watch a bunch of the stream. I saw that people were complaining because he used a picture of zebras in the thumbnail.
Oh, I saw that too.
And and a bunch of people were like, "Africa's like, there are no fucking zebras in that entire country."
So my understanding is that I guess one of the things he does, I'm not too big on him, but I guess one of the things he does is like he hands out money to people when he goes to these places, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of like a way to like say like whatever, here's some money. And so I don't think he understood that like the money, like his money was worth way more than like the money in Nigeria. So he handed someone, I think it was like $5,000. And then his translator in the car was like, "You just made someone a millionaire. You just gave them like $8 million in like the local currency." And he's like freaking out. He's like, $8 million? And I'm like, dude, like some of these like new streamers are like wild because like they're so disconnected that like they'll just hand someone like a bunch of money and they're just not thinking nothing of it, and they just like change that guy's life, like in his family's life, you know?
Because I think Kai as an estimate, like as a base, could make like around $400,000, $300,000 a month just from Twitch. So $5,000, obviously that's nothing to him. But I had an Uber driver one time telling me how he missed Africa. Like he went there a while ago, and while he was living there, he was like amazed by how cheap everything was. With how far his American currency could go. So, some of these places, like the exchange rate is like actually insane. Like Like you gotta be mindful of that. Like he would be literally a billionaire if he lived there.
Yep.
in that local currency. Like $5,000. That's but I mean, good for that guy.
I that's what I was thinking. Like that guy just woke up and then like, all of a sudden his life is like forever changed. Like it's wild, man.
Hope he doesn't get robbed.
Oh, and that's the thing too, right? Like you're thinking about that now. It's like I hope he's okay as well because that's money that people, would fight over.
Yeah, like depending on where you live, that could be sketchy. Like me, like where I live right now, me becoming a millionaire overnight would like make no difference. Literally, no one would know, and it wouldn't matter. But if you're living in like a sketchy area, all of a sudden, you gotta move. You gotta be real cautious, especially if you're on stream in front of hundreds of thousands of people.
Everybody knows at that point. Yep,
that's like winning a lottery.
I love it how High Ruler calls everything lore. What's the lore with that?
Yeah, it's the lore. I don't want a
exactly.
backstory. I don't want history. I want the lore.
I mean, he is a gamer, so it checks out.
It's true. It is true. I do play games sometimes.
It technically is lore. I mean, is it inaccurate, JayShockblast?
You want to know some lore?
Yeah.
Let's talk about the lore of this guy right here.
Listen, Incineroar is great.
No one cares. This is much better lore.
I like that too. I like that too.
That's some lore. I like how because we added High Ruler, instead of seeing Akira Tara's headstone, we could just only see Goku's ass.
You know what? I was gonna leave that alone because of the way that your body is positioned on his ass.
Yeah, he's right in kissing. He's right in kissing range.
I love it. I have no shame. I'll do things.
Yeah, we should make High Ruler like the new number 3.
I honestly think you guys would never have a productive conversation again. Like
that's what podcasts are supposed to be. You do realize I set up this entire podcast like 20 minutes before we go live, right?
I have a section on my Discord. It's called the Hall of Fame, and and this is my Hall of Fame.
It is good. Like that's a great picture. Like if I ever need proof that like I can bring it, it's right there,
I mean, in terms of in the running for a permanent third co-host, it's either Miller or High Ruler. And
I'm good to split time. We'll do like every other week,
I mean, Miller's a busy man. That's why I asked High Ruler.
That's true. Oh, what are you trying to say?
That you're not that busy.
You're kind of true. It's pretty true.
You're not Miller. You're not Miller busy.
That's true. I try to make myself as not busy as possible. I don't know how people live busy lives. I'm tired from like my life, and my life isn't that busy.
True. That's why I've been working so hard to just make a bunch of money, because I like being able to wake up whenever I want and just do as little as possible if I don't want to. Mm-hmm. I love being able to be like, you know what? I think I could just watch anime today.
I'm jealous.
That's the dream. When I was working in retail, I would work 2-hour commute each way, 9 to 5. I was like, yeah, I can't do this for like the next 5, 10. Like I don't know how people will live like this. It's not going to be. So I was like, I got to figure out how to work how can I make money without leaving my house? That was my goal, and I quit that job with no idea how to make that happen. But I had faith that I would figure it out, and I did. and it snowballed and eventually led to me being a YouTuber. So it worked out in the end. But I was heavily motivated to never work retail ever again.
Yeah, there's like some jobs that you work once and you're just like, please, for the love of God. I'm sort of in a job like that now, where I think it was like last Monday, I like woke up and I was like physically sick from the thought of working, and I was like, oh my God, I can't do this. It's brutal.
See, I wish all my content creator friends could just be full-time content creators.
That's so nice.
I wish it was nice. Like if I could, I would love to like start an actual content house and just have people, just have my favorite creators just living there, so they don't have to work their shitty jobs and just focus on making content.
The problem is what are we gonna make content on? Video games suck nowadays.
That is true. I mean, that is a niche. I mean, look at Kyle. He's doing better than ever. And
is he?
Yeah, literally. Like all.
Honestly, with the way things have been going, oh my god, dude.
Grip.
I'm grifting. I'm sorry.
Credit where credit is due. Kyle's channel was fucking dead. But like when he was covering Avengers, he was dead. Like he was at 39,000 subscribers for like 2 years straight. He was getting Avengers dried up. No one gave a shit about him talking to Avengers. As soon as he started switched to the anti-woke grift and just started putting big titty anime girls in his thumbnail and complaining about Sweet Baby and ESG scores, tens of thousands of views overnight. Tens of thousands of subscribers.
That's insane. Like that's
it is a strong grift.
Wow.
I mean, and High Roller has the look for it. He's bald. He's white. He's bald.
I could do it.
And he's already got a lot of hate in his heart from Avengers and Suicide Squad. Like
I feel like I would have to go to like my family and like my work and like my girlfriend and be like, guys, listen, I'm about to make some really fucked up shit. But like, I want you to know that if it goes well,
I don't mean it. And the upside
I'm just
is
doing
great.
it for the money.
Literally just doing it for the money.
So, like if I start saying like I hate women and the rest of it, just know, guys, like I don't mean it, but like the paychecks, I do mean it for the paychecks, like it's wild. Like what a world we live in,
I have never been so demoralized.
It's brutal, isn't it?
Did you actually look at the channel?
I wish I never knew. Like, I wish you were just fucking with me. I wish
I wish I was too. I was like a dead ass. Like I saw him come up on Twitter one day. I was like, oh, I wonder how his channel's doing, because the last I saw it wasn't doing that well. And I was like, holy fuck.
Like he almost caught you.
No, that's a funny thing. He started years before me.
Yeah.
So when I was at 17 subscribers, he was at 39,000. He was at 38,000. And then I completely passed him. And then he started doing the anti-woke grift, and then he started catching up.
It's wild, man.
I think I'm still ahead of him.
Yeah.
With the way this is going, maybe not for long, because like
you'll get your plaque first.
I should definitely. I'm only about 3,000 subs away from my plaque, so I'm definitely probably going to beat him to it. But I mean, all I have to do is put some anime boobs in my thumbnail and start complaining about Sweet Baby. I'm right there.
Insane,
I'm right there. right there with it.
You could do like a year of that content and like disappear and go like that's wild.
Yeah, the trick is that you would do irreparable harm to your reputation.
Oh, at that point, I don't care because I'm done after it. Like I'm disappearing.
He's retiring.
He's a literal criminal, so.
Yeah, so he had really nowhere. There was nothing to lose. Like he is an actual convict. So yeah,
that's true.
Like it's not like he had a reputation to begin with, so he has nothing to lose.
Oh man,
I feel like I would slide in like on like the less extreme end of the griff. I'd just be like, anime boobies, great, and just like make that my platform.
I'm gonna be honest with you. You've ruined my night, and I can't go any longer. Like, it's been real, guys.
He's gonna spend
stream is over.
He's gonna spend the next hour hate watching Kyle.
I've already X'd out of it.
I think it speaks to though, like it's not so much like tapping into a game, it's almost tapping into a culture. Like it's if you tap into that culture, like those guys will like you're like their knight fighting the holy war, it's wild.
Yeah, people are looking for a war to fight. Like they feel this generation, there's never been a more useless generation in human history. So people are looking for like purpose, looking for ways they can feel like they can make a difference. And for some, it's like, hey, I can be a crusader for big tits in video games. Like That's my World War II. That's my storming the beaches of Normandy is hitting follow on the Sweet Baby Ink Detector Steam page.
Remember like 6 months ago 5 months ago when I didn't even know what a Sweet Baby was.
Yeah, those were the days.
Like, you literally told me what they were like on a show.
His life was never the same.
Nope.
I actually think I'm dumber from like this whole thing. Like, I actually think I've lost brain cells.
Yeah, I miss those days. I'm gonna be honest with you. I would just be happy to go back to like the 2013 to 2017 era for me, where I could just make videos about Lego games. Some of the time, not even talk in the videos, and just like be ignorant to all this.
Yep, no culture. Well, when did Gamergate start?
It was before I started.
2011.
Yeah.
Gamergate. Yes. Well, now we're in Gamergate 2.0. So, Gamergate 2 Electric Boogaloo.
I feel dumber.
Have you ever tried to talk to some of those people? You will feel dumber. You will feel dumber.
I have a really bad problem with Twitter, and I doom scroll. And if I find like a really juicy tweet, I have no problem taking 10 minutes out of my day and looking at all the stupidity. And it helps me kind of, let myself know that I'm actually not that dumb, which is nice. But like I just feel like I don't know if any of these are bots. Like I really don't know, or if these are just all very, very, very angry people.
Oh, they're definitely very, very angry people. Like you can't even like try to have like, because the other thing you'll notice is that they're very angry, but if you like ask them some like basic questions to like trying to get to the heart of it, they don't have that information, so they just yell at you and call you names.
Yeah,
it's literally like idiocracy.
It's brutal, man. Like I you know what, like it's one of those things where I play video games to have fun, and I make videos even though I make videos about games that aren't fun, because the whole experience is fun. And I can't imagine like sitting on Twitter arguing with people and having that be an enjoyable aspect of my life. Like maybe to that point they think this is their war, right? And war's not fun, but like I can't imagine waking up every day and like going to Twitter and be like, I'm gonna fight on the front lines of the
the culture war.
The culture war, like, and it's just like,
I mean, I mean, for the grifters, I understand. Like, it's
yeah, 100%. I'm debating it right now.
Like, but the true believers, yeah, those are true suckers. And it's like because the crazy thing is like because of how stupid they are, they make you defend stuff that you normally wouldn't even care about. Like I looked into Sweet Baby, and from everything I heard, they sound like a horrible company, and I would never hire them. But the way people would act and treat them, I'm just like, bro, what is wrong with you?
like they never heard of a consultant agency before.
Well, I think a lot of that comes down to like people don't actually know, right? Like I'm not going to say I'm a financial expert, but like the way a lot of this works, like I would like to think that people with a little bit of background education could like light the way here, but like it's just so toxic that like you kind of breed this space where people can just like say wild things and just like get away with it,
Yeah, there are a number of reasons to use consultant agencies. For some cases they literally might need specific expertise on a particular topic, and they want to have someone come in and give them that authentic experience. I think for companies like Sweet Baby, there might be like some tax breaks, incentive opportunities. If they can tick some boxes, so there's that benefit. And some people just like that's the other thing they don't realize. They think that they need Sweet Baby to make their games more diverse, as if studios aren't already hiring more diverse people, and they they don't need to be reminded to put black people in video games. They have black people that work at the studio. like they don't need a consultant agency to force them to do it. Like it's a natural progression. Like, yeah, believe it or not, they don't think that white people should be the default character in every game anymore. Like things have changed a little bit.
Yeah, it's wild. Like, I don't know, man. I feel bad for the people who are like genuine believers because like I can't imagine my world being so small. You know, like it's brutal. You know, like how do these people and you know if one of them wants to tweet me on Twitter later and have this conversation, by all means. But like I can't imagine like some of these people like walking down a street of a major city and like seeing people, right? Like it's like what do you do when you like
They
interact with
definitely,
someone
they definitely
that
don't live in a major city.
yeah,
Uh,
true.
There's your
let's,
answer.
let's be honest. They're definitely walking on a dirt road to get to their neighbor's house.
New York City, where they live?
There's absolutely no way they're living in San Francisco metropolitan area.
Wild, man. You know, like this whole gaming thing is just between games sucking and like people involved in these communities sucking. It's like, where's the fun nowadays?
The fun is in yelling at each other online.
I guess. Yeah. I mean, all right, let's do it. Who's up?
Very random story, Eric.
The only fun to be had in gaming is going to be playing Stellar Blade when the free demo comes out.
True.
That's
you can catch me on my spicy link, which you can find on my Twitter, playing Stellar Blade.
I might no jokes, all jokes aside, I might legitimately have to stream that on Kick. Because I don't know if YouTube will let me get away with it. I'm legitimately not sure.
If you see anything Darth Bane or Darth Revan related, hit me up.
Oh, I did hear the KOTOR remake might not be as dead as we assumed it was.
Yeah, didn't we hear that like last week?
I think it was before. I think before it was like, oh, it's actually dead, but now it's like also not dead.
Yeah, because they just sold off the studio.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So it was like last month when the rumors of like the sale were coming through. We heard something, and then it was like once it was
because we didn't get confirmation that it was still being worked on, and we didn't get the full details of the terms of the Embracer deal. But I did hear Saber is still working on that game, but I heard Jeff Grubb say PlayStation wants nothing to do with it, so I don't know what's going to happen to it.
Oh,
I actually think Star Wars might be like the worst franchise to be invested in and be a gamer. Like other than if you think about it, like other than the Knight series, like EA's Battlefront had like their own controversies, both of them, and then like what have we gotten recently? Like the Dark Forces remaster, like the layup was the Battlefront Classic Collection, and like that is not a layup. Like that's out of the arena at this point. You know,
I mean, we had Jedi Survivor.
Yeah.
It was a good game. I mean, it was definitely a bit of a buggy mess at launch, but as all Respawn Star Wars games are. But it was a good game. But yeah, the Mandalorian game got canceled. Star Wars games looking kind of cooked right now. The future. I mean, we still got Outlaws coming out. I think that's supposed to come out in May.
That's true. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, I don't know if Outlaws are going to be any good, but I mean, it looks okay.
I think it'll be like traditional Ubisoft stuff. So if you hate Ubisoft, you're gonna hate that.
Yeah, probably. But if not, then you know it might be it might be some fun there. But beyond that, yeah, Star Wars future looks kind of cooked. Yeah, you're gonna have that last Jedi. You're gonna have that last Jedi game to close out the series, and after that, I mean, what else? Unless someone decides, like Star Wars Eclipse, from what I know, is that game is basically dead. Yeah. Nicer Republic is probably never coming out. Let's be honest. Like, where do we got? Like, it's not looking good. And then, I mean, if you're a Marvel fan, DC fan, I think the low key upside here is going to be DC fans in gaming, because assuming WB doesn't go tits up again, if you look at the future of the Marvel stuff, you know, it's a lot of stuff tied to Insomniac, sure, but EA is getting out of the license business. Companies in general don't like working with Disney, really. and DC is trying to make a bigger push to do more games based on their own IP. And James Gunn has made it very clear that he wants to make a bunch of video games as part of his DCU. So you got some upside there. I mean, unless they're all like Suicide Squad.
Oh, they announced the Teen Titans movie today.
Ooh, a Teen Titans movie, live action or animated?
Yep, live action.
Ooh, that should be. Now, if only they would announce a Teen Titans game.
Right.
There you go.
That's what I would love to hear. It there's that upside, you know, that DC could have. They've been not performing like they could because they haven't really been putting much work into their game division. It's usually, oh, let's just make another Batman game and call it a day. But with James Gunn, you might get some more variety here, and that could be good.
Yeah,
I hope so, because like as someone who genuinely enjoys like these IPs, like we just get nothing, you know. And what we do get is not great a lot of the time.
And as someone who's built the channel around superhero games, the more the better.
True.
Whenever they got some, look for it. That's why I'm making sure Jay keeps his ear to the ground, lets me know when you know something's on the horizon that might be up my you know. It was you know, I'd rather hear it from Jay before Jeff Grubb. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I would rather know it before Jeff Grubb, and then tell nobody.
Except me. All right, I think we're gonna wrap it up. Old man Jay is past his bedtime, and
I just need to stand, and I'm noticing like it looks very different from this angle.
I bet it does.
Like, well, no, I mean like looking at my camera, like I don't know, I feel like it looks better. Like the lighting is good. I don't know, it's weird.
You look taller.
Fair.
You should do some of those like standing streams, you know.
Yeah,
in a hot tub.
I wouldn't actually hate a standing desk at this point, but you know.
You know what? I still haven't taken my standing desk out the box. It's literally right over there.
What was Captay's question? I don't want to betray him.
Dang, they really are. Oh, did he have? How dare you, Jay? Not ignore.
You're in charge of that.
I'm a busy man. Is it wild that you consider Akira Toriyama an unofficial father figure because of the life lessons he taught us with Dragon Ball? I feel like everyone thinks that, so you are not alone, Jay.
Why would you expect an answer from me on that?
Because you're an expert in all things anime, Jay. So.
I learned who that guy was the day he died. Like I had never heard that name before, and when I saw people like acting like the day that Heath Ledger died, I was like, what the fuck is going on? But you know what I never did? I never disrespected a single one of you.
So you wouldn't consider him a father figure to you? Is that what you're saying?
No.
I mean,
okay.
I mean,
he is like a father figure to me since mine is no longer with us either. So he's like one.
And Jay likes to call himself an honorary black man. So not knowing him,
I never dubbed myself that.
Make sure you.
I was told
like an honorary black
I was told by a man with dreadlocks who was toxically positive in every Avengers tweet that I was an honorary black boy. Not my words, his words.
Well, there you go. And
what a way to end it.
Tay, you know I'm joking.
Jay was very respectful on that day, unlike Sweet Baby, who made a joke about him being racist.
Yeah.
just put that out there.
Self-inflicted wound, man. Self-inflicted.
No, like listen, I didn't understand. I mean, I understood people love Dragon Ball, don't get me wrong, but like now I'm watching like all these things all over the world, like people throwing like, you know, these moments together all over the world, you know, like tributes, like it's insane. That's amazing. And I think we should all feel good about the fact that somebody was able to create something that made people feel that way. And that's like what I feel like the three of us, for the most part, try to bring to our fandoms. You know, we want to like come from a place of what we love, talking about the things we like. And that's why it's especially demoralizing when Sadot tells us about the grifters that we had forgotten about.
I thought you were going to have a nice tribute where you're comparing us in our accomplishments to Akira Toriyama. Not trying to throw shade at me.
I would if I knew anything more than he created Dragon Ball. Listen, there are some bad people that created some good things. He might have been one of them. Doubt it.
He was not. He was in fact a great person who basically is responsible for anime being popular.
All right. Well, I will take your word for that, and thank God for him.
Thank God. And we miss you, Toriyama Sensei. We'll see you on Snake Way. So, we'll catch y'all next week. Maybe you'll see High Ruler again. This was another audition for him. We've been secretly auditioning him, but that's the real reason we actually invite him on.
True.
We've been auditioning a third member of the team. So, if things go well and he passes his background check, we might make him the honorary third member of the chair.
Do I get stock options?
Well,
it is union.
Okay.
You do get a union mandated pee break.
Oh, that's nice. I'm actually getting up there in age, so that does help. So that's
every 2 hours.
Okay, I can deal with that. That works. We'll talk.
So maybe one day Casual can come on as a guest and see a master at work. See how High Ruler does it. He was the original podcaster after all. that brought
so
together.
many.
I mean, legitimately, we wouldn't be doing this podcast if it wasn't for Doom Killer HD, me and Jay, and I wouldn't know who Doom Killer was if it wasn't for High Ruler and his podcast. So, in a way, it would make sense if he was the third member because he kind of started this podcast.
You're gonna make me emotional, man. Oh my god, I'm crying.
So whenever your family or friends tell you you're not doing anything in life, tell them that you're responsible for the Aftershow podcast with Sadot the Gamer and JayShockblast.
Perfect.
Indirectly.
You know what? That's all I need in my life right there. So I appreciate it. Thank you guys.
All right, so we'll catch you next week. We are going to have a actual special guest that's not High Ruler or Miller at some point that we're potentially setting up. So be on the lookout for that. I'm still working on getting Aman Balani to come on and talk about Marvel's Avengers with us. So maybe one day I'll let you know when that happens. But until then, I'm Sadot the Gamer.
I'm Casual Avenger.
No, you're not.
I'm JayShockblast.
Shut up.
I'm not as cool as these two.
There's an order to these things. So we're gonna go High Ruler first. Then and the old man, and then I'll go last.
I'm the token bald guy, grifter, right wing extremist, and I'll be making hateful YouTube content soon.
There you go.
How do you feel about this thing that was floating around Twitter yesterday? Like Canada's police force telling you to leave your fob by the door so that people can steal your car easier.
I mean, this is like a whole thing. I don't know if people know this, but like car theft in Toronto is like really, 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 really big. And my brother and his wife just had her like Jeep just broken into and like taken. It's actually like it's crazy because like you can get your car stolen and within 3 hours it's in Montreal on a boat ready to go to like Africa or Saudi Arabia or one of these countries. And like it's legit, like it's serious. And like I don't know what the answer is. I think the
Guns.
cops probably. I think the cops shouldn't have been like, we're giving up, because it puts out like a message to like all these people that like it's open season on any sort of exotic car.
Damn liberals.
Yeah, true. Listen, get the guns, boys. Start defending your property. Because
I almost tweeted something about that at you, but then I was like, no, I don't want to do this on Twitter.
It's a tough situation, man. I don't know what the answer is, but I think you don't openly admit that.
This will never happen. This would never happen where Joe Rogan lives.
True. Actually true.
All right, so we'll catch y'all next week. Hopefully to hear more hatefulness from High Ruler. He is going on vacation, so went or fleeing the country, wherever he's spinning it.
I'm fleeing those liberals.
But I think he might be trying to take a little vacation to visit the Proud Boys, see get away from
literally
Canada.
the hate capital of the United States.
Yes,
Florida. I'm ready.
But he will be back for Suicide Squad season 1 launch week, so he can spread all of that hate starting on Tuesday.
I'm practicing in Florida
When the
with
patch goes.
DeSantis.
Damn right. All right, so we'll catch y'all. We might even be streaming if we could get him. We can get him to stream live from Florida, maybe from a DeSantis rally.
Maybe Mar-a-Lago
or Mar-a-Lago. Yeah,
I'm ready. Live on location.
on location. MAGA. I'm peace, everybody.
You didn't zip it up or